destroy the integrity and the social well-being and again the tradition of the Gadangbe people, we will deal with them. Yeah. Wait until we clarify ourselves and get out of this mess, and we are going to, without mincing words, all those that have denigrated the image of the Babulamo and those persons behind the scenes that want to destroy the integrity and the social well-being and again the tradition of the Gadangbe people, we will deal with them. Yes. Because Gadangbe, we have an identity. And our identity has much to do with the worship of our deities and our spirits. If our spirits are doing things with us, we deal with our spirits. If you are not part of us, you cannot decide for us. We are what we are, and we do what we think we can do. A lady who is our queen, then it is the deity that has something to do with our queen, and not Babu Wulomo as a person. Like people are speculating that Babu Wulomo has married a younger woman below age. Please, press, we lay it before you. Because most of these unacceptable statements here and there are from the telephones of people who classify themselves as social media.
Well, that was a press conference that was addressed by the Nungwa Traditional Authority at the beginning of the week after all of these reports of a girl being allegedly married to the Wulomo. Now, the conversation began with she being 12 years old. The Traditional Authority came to update her age to 16 years old, and then also challenged that reportage of she being married to the Wulomo. Says she's married to the deity, to the gods, and that spiritual things cannot be understood by the physical mind. But then again, how does that feed into the laws of the land as we have it in this country? There are many who have spoken against this development. But even beyond this, did you know that per statistics as given even by the Ghana School Service and then also the United Nations, we have close to 2 million child brides. I mean, children who have been married, 2 million in this country. So this is just a case that highlights a bigger problem. And that's a conversation that we would have this morning. But welcome to Adesawe, Accra. This is Key Point on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on X, and DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. On this program, we discuss the most topical issues of the week with our well-informed panelists who have the nation at heart to ensure that we develop this country in every way possible through the conversations we have this morning. Now, government officials have been mounting a spirited defense over this 400% increment in the fees for acquisition of passports. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration announced the hike in passport fees effective April 1. Now, the decision has since sparked widespread public disapproval and also anger. But as you're saying, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Shirley Ayoko-Botchwey, has been talking about this and defending this decision. The majority caucus in Parliament as well, insisting that the LI was passed by consensus when it came to the plenary. So really, what is the issue? And we would hear from all the parties involved, and then you as well, the members of the general public. because it is the timing that is one issue that has come up. The timing of this increase, especially because we are having an increase in almost everything around us. So if the timing is of essence, could something have been done about this increase, the quantum of the increase that we have seen in passport applications? Is passport a privilege or a right? Because the likes of the Honorable Andy Apiakobi, man you're seeing on your screen, is the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. He says that the passport is a privilege and not a right. So we would have a conversation this morning. Also, on the menu we're serving you, the presidency has confirmed the receipt of the KPMG audit findings into the controversial contract awarded the Ghana Revenue Authority to Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. You all remember that SML deal? Yeah. But there are now fears that the content of this audit finding may not be publicized anytime soon. We'll have a discussion on this matter because this report was supposed to have been ready about over a month ago. Only this week we got to know that KPMG did submit the report to the president sometime on the 27th of March, which was last week. Now the president has it. Will he make it public? That's a question that we're asking this morning here on Key Point. As we speak, a number of you are still sleeping in darkness. You woke up in darkness with this dumso. The Ghana Grid Company Limited has come out to raise questions about the ECG's non-compliance to that's Gridco's own directives for a load management schedule. If you recall, ECG had indicated that what is happening cannot be their fault because Gridco is not giving them enough power to distribute. Gridco has come out strongly to dispute that position. So what is happening? In the midst of all this back and forth, it is you and I, the consumer, that's suffering and sleeping in darkness and not having a schedule to be able to plan. We have details of the document, that Gridco report, that gives some detail and some explanation about what we are going through, why we are going through what we're going through. In fact, per the details of that document, issues of maintenance of some of the plants, the lack of fuel, the gas to power some of the plants, and some of the plants have also developed faults. That's what's causing this situation, and they warn that if nothing is done, this power sector may just grind to a halt. That's where we are now. What has to be done going forward? That's the conversation we're having this morning. So as always, you are an integral part of the conversation here on Key Point. My name is Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. My guest will be joining me to have a conversation. Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner. Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon. And also we have Alex Sebefia, who is the Director of International Relations of the NDC. He's been a former minister as well in this country, also a private legal practitioner for that matter. We also have a member of the NPP, Eric Chum, also joining us. As we go along the way, we'll have some people joining us on Zoom as well. Ben Boachi, who is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, and also Nana Mwesi the 7th. And so we'll have a conversation this morning. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. It's a perfect opportunity this Ramadan Kareem to make it an extra special season for your family and friends with Melcom. With affordable products ranging from groceries, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture and more, you've got all your needs sorted. Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim family. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Wumbe, Idia.
Their situation is well known in the remote areas of northern Ghana, yet no one appears to care.
This is the harsh reality for many children in Gunok community in the northern region, where attending school means bringing their siblings along or sacrificing their education altogether.
It's very rampant to see parents giving their kids to their siblings to bring to school. You have to control them in addition with their siblings.
Their eyes are filled with a desire for academic success, but they are consciously redirected by their own parents. I am Godwin Asideba. Join me as I tell this heartbreaking story of communities split between heritage and potential. This is not just a documentary. It is a call to action for change.
Dreams in Shambles, as on Monday, April 8 at 9 p.m. on TV3 and across our social media platforms.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
In this country, there is no sector that is used for politics more than the education sector.
Do teachers in Ghana earn up to 3,000 cedis?
For being in the service for 19 years and with a second degree, I earn 4,066 cedis.
What's your assessment of the quality of teachers we've had over the years now?
The quality of teachers Ghana produces is top-notch. No head teacher can come and sit here just and make this discussion with you. He will leave here and go, and his dismissal letter will be waiting for him.
Hot Issues show Sundays at 10 p.m. only on TV3.
TV3, first in news. Baby, are you ready? The most electrifying dance show is coming to your doorstep. It's Big Old Family Dance Season 2. Which family will win the ultimate prize? Is it the Bako family, Ofori family, a Champon family, or the Apia family? Be there to witness history in the making. Come feel the rhythm, embrace the drama, and cheer for your favorite family. Date is 6th April. Venue is Kotobabi Sports Complex. Time is 5 p.m. Entry is free. It's more than a competition. It's a celebration of dance, family, and the spirit of winning. Special performances from Incredible Ziggy, Massive Family Dance, and many more. Prepare to be swept away with incredible dance moves and a fun-filled night. To vote for your favorite family, dial *713*19#. Big Old Family Dance. Big up your moves. Big Old Family Dance Season 2.
Brought to you by Bigo Drinks.
Talented Kids platform provides children with the opportunity to showcase their talents, focusing this week's episode on highlighting advancements, innovations, and the impact of technology on different aspects of our lives.
I am Yagaya AI. How can I help you? Technology is a double-edged sword, so let's use it rightly and wisely.
Yeah, many ways to communicate. In the name of technology, may we all be great.
Technology play a good role in life, advancing every time, improving everyday life.
To keep your favorites in the competition, vote by dialing *713*13# or download the TV3 Reality app to vote. Talented Kids, free to play.
Oh my God. When concept comes beautifully on stage.
Talented Kids shows on TV3 Sunday at 4 p.m.
Powered by Indomie. Sponsored by Coco Plus.
Deluxy Acrylic Paint.
Frutelli Calipo.
Vitamilk.
Pepsodent Cavity Fighter. CTIW Foundation. CTIW Foundation.
And supported by...
Hey guys, it's me, Feli Nuna, your one and only Davi Diva, and I want you to join me and your amazing ladies, Regina, Sika, and Helen on the Ladies Circle.
Just recently, Hammer had mentioned that his first marriage, which was quite short-lived, was very unromantic and came with a lot of issues.
The most important relationship that you need to nurture is the one with yourself. We're quick to, again, attach to one guy and we're seeing potential.
I go into relationships with very high expectations of the person that I'm dating. I want so much more. Sometimes it sounds very unrealistic. If you're in a relationship and your partner needs money, you need to have enough to give. Hey! Thank you! Have you ever felt pressure to marry? Pressure is getting well done.
The Ladies Circle shows this Saturday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad,
Onga, Yumvita,
MTN, Cowbell, Our Milk.
This is a 3FM call to Ghana. You know what time of the year it is. These are the men who matter. And they are the guys who are going to be showing us what they are made of. That clearly tells you that these gentlemen are ready. 3FM Tour to Ghana.
Your favorite programs on TV3 are switching times. Sports Station, which reviews the best sports action on Monday, is now at 5 p.m. And GPL Express eases you into the weekend at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So same shows, revamped, more analytical, but more engaging and better on TV3.
Kotobabi, are you ready? The most electrifying dance show is coming to your doorstep. It's Big Old Family Dance Season 2. Which family will win the ultimate prize? Is it the Bako family, Ofori family, a Champon family, or the Apia family? Be there to witness history in the making. Come feel the rhythm, embrace the drama, and cheer for your favorite family. Date is 6th April. Venue is Kotobabi Sports Complex. Time is 5 p.m. Entry is free. It's more than a competition. It's a celebration of dance, family, and the spirit of winning. Special performances from Incredible Ziggy, Massive Family Dance, and many more. Prepare to be swept away with incredible dance moves and a fun-filled night. To vote for your favorite family, dial *713*19#. Big Old Family Dance. Big up your moves.
Big Old Family Dance Season 2.
Brought to you by Big O Drinks.
Yama adofo akwaba. O house of pisanya on netie na ge hu akono efa. By mistake now they petiti kosini die mu no fa yefuna. See that. O Valentine gift na ere.
Na pork ni cook. Nti every pork na yebo TV game.
Wa sorry for no. Omusofu ma mu yemi no.
Bigina no ye aboafo mbebo ameme akonim.
Okay, nti mo kwa sorry typically maybe I would puppet and answer what wa. O mienu ti metna wachi.
O metam jan ere. Omo yasofo. Omo yam yire no mom tram congregation.
Nti se na nkwala 13 na do betime watimi asifie.
Wo dwene fie ho. You take a dying bubu if you go here. Service bit to some make say obi a me matena kura ketwa be 10 house.
Na wo kwabroche the first time.
Na wo kwabroche na wo kwaje say water way, a jacket way.
2 p.m. say na net e wo ma.
Obi a hwe me.
Enti wo gam o be ti bi.
Na kakra no monsio.
Anu odene odofo.
The Delay Show is brought to you by
NASCO, Pepsodent,
Betway, Gino, Delay Foods, Yas Sanitary Pad, Tabia Takun.
The Delay Show, Sunday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
This woman locked up in a room to break a key. So where she's in a relationship with me and I can't have a boyfriend. It's more of a strategy of bringing all his girlfriend under one roof. So she comes to my room, touch me, hold my breasts. All sorts of girls in the house posted me.
This is Confessions, the groundbreaking talk show where hearts are laid bare and resolutions sought.
Just tell me, who is he?
I didn't mean to hurt you. I just couldn't resist him.
Him? Who is he?
It's my brother.
Your brother?
As the confession unfolds, we explore the depth of human emotions, address guilt, and work towards healing. I am Miss Nancy, your confidant and your companion on this journey. Here, honesty reigns supreme and judgment finds no foothold. Whether your transgressions are whispered secrets or thunderous regrets, this is your sanctuary. Join me and my resource persons. Trust me, they are wise counselors, deep spiritual people, and professionals. Confessions, the safe haven for all your secrets.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN.
Hey, welcome back. This is Key Point here on TV3. We're also live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Let me just remind you that we're very interactive as well, so you can share your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions with us on all the issues that we're talking about this morning here on Key Point, and we'll read out to you and to the rest of the world. Joining me in studio this morning for the issues as outlined earlier is a former defense minister, a former deputy defense minister, a former deputy chief of staff, a former minister of health as well, and now the director of international relations of the NDC, and he's a private legal practitioner too. The Honorable Alex Sebefia, good morning, welcome.
Good morning to you and good morning to my colleagues you're going to soon introduce, and also good morning to your viewers.
Indeed. It's been a year and I think 4 months since you came on this platform. Yeah.
No, it's not true.
I remember.
No.
Yeah, that was sometime. No.
6 months.
6 months, maybe not on Key Point.
Not on Key Point.
Yes.
But in TV3.
Not on TV3. Yes. I keep track of my guests.
Okay.
So I know exactly what's happening.
That is true.
Welcome.
With you.
Anyway, also Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner, also the leader of one of 3 individual bondholder groups. It's a matter that, you know, in the coming weeks we'll talk about, because there are other groups that are springing up as well whose monies have been locked up. The likes of Dr. Michael Ado Kama.
Ejekum.
Ado,
I wanted to mention him. Ejekum, he suffered for Ghana too much. Too much. Yesterday I met another one, the pensioners. It's bad. Yes. He suffered for Ghana too much.
All his savings locked up in there, and quite a worry. Yes, Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner. He's here with us. Lawyer Martin Pebo, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Ocansey. It's good to be here.
Last week you went around. I had to answer questions on your absence. So.
Easter, and there's a funeral. I had a funeral around the Easter,
Okay. The professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, also a governance expert. written quite extensively about governance in this country and beyond. Professor Ransford Jampo, good morning, welcome.
Morning. Great to be here.
A belated happy birthday to you.
Yes, you are using just your mouth to say it. You have to bring me birthday cake.
You'll be sorted out.
You don't use your empty mouth to drive away witchcraft.
What do you use? Anyway, also joining us shortly is Eric Chum, who is a member of the New Patriotic Party, formerly with the Ghana Export Promotion Authority as well. He'll be joining us in a bit. The Honorable Henry Kokofu was supposed to join us, but we had a call this morning. He had to attend to an emergency. And we wish him well on that. I have the detail, which I don't have his permission to put out, but it's something that we'll be checking on as we go on. So thank you very much for joining us here on Key Point. This week, Professor Ransford Jampo here wrote an open letter to the president asking about the SML GRA audit that had been commissioned at the instance of the president because of that expose by the Fourth Estate led by its former editor-in-chief, Manasseh Azure-Awoni, and the team that exposed what the details of this contract is. After that open letter by Professor Ransford Jampo asking whether KPMG has finally submitted the audit report, because if you recall, they asked for an extension sometime in February. In fact, sometime in January, they asked for a 1-month extension. So then we were all, expecting that sometime last month that report should have been made available to the president. And whether or not that will be made public or not is another conversation. But hours after Professor Ransford Jampo's open letter, then Eugene, who is Director of Communications at the Presidency, put this on his Facebook page. Take a look. This is what Eugene said. The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on Wednesday, the 27th of March, 2024, received from KPMG its report on the audit conducted at the behest of the President on the transactions between the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. President Akufo-Addo is studying the findings of the audit report and will, in due course, make his decision known to the public. So that is what Eugene said, that in due course, the president will make his decision known to the public. And there was no mention of the details of the report being made known to the public. But it goes on to say that it will be recalled that on the 2nd of January 2024, the president appointed KPMG to audit the contracts entered into between GRA and SML, and subsequently directed the Ministry of Finance and GRA to suspend the performance of the contracts pending the submission of the audit report, including any payments presently envisaged under their terms. So this contract has been suspended, not abrogated. So that's also another thing to take into consideration. But let me take you through the timelines of this SML issue and what has been happening. Take a look at this. On December 18, 2023, the Fourth Estate released the expose, petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and it became public. We all got to see. On December 20, 2023, GRA affirmed that it has followed the right processes in procuring the service of SML. They came vehemently raising questions about this expose by Manasseh Azure-Awoni. The OSP eventually disclosed in its half-year report that it has commenced a preliminary investigation into the matter. The complaint, according to the OSP, was represented by 3 journalists, Evans Aziamo Mensah, Adwoa Adubiewusu, and Manasseh Azuri-Awoni. Then, on January 2nd, the president then gave the directive for GRA to suspend the contract with SML, appointed KPMG to conduct the audit within 2 weeks. The first timeline was 2 weeks. The deadline was extended to February 23 at the instance of KPMG. They said they needed ample time to do a good job. On January 3, SML wrote, said they welcomed the president's decision and so on. So if you look at this February 23 deadline, that was when this report was to have been made available to the president. SML sued the Fourth Estate on the 15th of February, and its founding editor, Manasseh Azuri-Awoni, we'll hear from him shortly. But for what it claims were defamatory and reckless reports. On April 3, when Professor Ranso Jampo wrote this open letter, then we heard from the president on the set date. So that is what has been happening with this SML deal, the timelines and the path that this deal has traveled over the period. Now, I'll start off with you, Professor Jampo, because it was your, when you wrote the letter that morning, then we got to know that even the president has actually received the report a week ago and is studying the details of it. And he will make his decision public in due course. That's according to Eugene. Does that answer the questions you were raising in there?
Well, thank you. You see, when Manasseh broke the news following his investigations into the activities of SML, I think we were here. You interviewed him on Zoom, and we were all worried that, look, it appears that this nation, we always want to be fetching water with baskets. And so we should be careful about some of these things that we do. And I was excited that following the public outcry that came out after Manasseh's work, the president asked KPMG to investigate, the matter. And, when the president asked KPMG to do this, Ghanaians, we like talking. People suddenly said, why should it be KPMG? Why shouldn't it be any of the state institutions in charge of fighting corruption? And I said that Ghanaians, whatever you do, they will talk. So just be yourself. I know if the president had given this marching orders to any of the state institutions to investigate, they would say, well, these state institutions, they are compromised, and so they would do a shoddy job. Now the president has given it to a private organization. That one too, we are complaining. So I sided with the president for going the KPMG, route. So they started working, and whilst they started working, I was so keenly interested in the matter. So I went to SML, their offices, to try to go and understand the work that they really do.
You went there?
Yeah, I went there just to be able to, because I didn't want to rely on media reportage and hearsays. I went there to go sit down to be schooled about the work that SML was doing. And look, if you go there and you really have your head properly screwed on and you want to learn, then you ask yourself, but if they are doing this, why will we have problems with that? But of course, it was their side of the story. Okay, they are telling us that if these tankers, they go and they draw the petroleum products and say we are moving it from venue position A or venue A to venue B, they will tell you that, well, we have, if you like, 10 barrels of petrol in the tank. That's what they will announce. But they may have picked maybe 15. And so they would just say 10 and then lodge the 5, elsewhere in their own private, filling stations. And what SML was doing was to meter the process such that if you say it is 10, you pick 10 from the point of picking it, it is the same 10 that goes. And so whilst the investigations were going on, the activities of SML had to be suspended. And some of us, our hearts bled because it meant that then these tankers would still be stealing from the state. They would always not announce, or they would always not report the exact quantities of fuel that they are carrying.
Well, that's SML's narrative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's their side.
I've already indicated that is one side. Okay, so they would always not be reporting on what.
That notion was disputed in the details of that.
All right. The GRA said they don't use SML data. The GRA officer, for a public officer who knows that, look, his job. They don't use it.
Let me finish. Okay. So I'm saying that was their side. Okay. Based on their side, I am aware that they wrote to the president, telling him that let the investigations go on, but let us continue to meter the system so that at least we are sure that what is reported is the same as what is discharged. And I think I realized I'm told the presidency said no.
Yes.
Suspend the activities and let the processes go on. It's no problem. So the processes have been ongoing, and like I said, because I am keenly interested in this matter, I've been asking, nosing around, what is the state of affairs, what is being done, and all that. You see, I'm not digressing, but it's important for us to show better commitment in whatever we do to help the cause of Ghana. Okay, it appears that most of you guys in the media fraternity are always in a hurry to break news. Now,
what have we done in this?
Well, please listen to me. Being in a hurry to merely break news without following up on interventions to address the problems unearthed by investigations, in my view, is inconsequential to the quest to promote good governance. So don't be in a hurry. Once you break the news, also make it a point to follow up on the kinds of things that are being done to address the problems that you may have unearthed through your investigation. I'm saying that I was expecting you guys in the media to be following up on the work of KPMG. If you had followed up, then you would have known that, they have submitted, KPMG has even submitted its report and it's with the presidency, nothing is being done about it. Then you would have, blowed the vuvuzela, on the presidency. But you all kept quiet. And no, let me finish. Don't.
No. I'm only drawing your attention to the fact that maybe you sleep early, so you don't watch Ghana Tonight. But on Ghana Tonight on Monday at 10 o'clock, we specifically mentioned this issue, and so yes, so.
Well, but it took a long
so you are
time.
talking about the media in general, not specifically
I'm
about.
not, I'm not talking about you.
I understand.
I said you guys in the media fraternity.
I understand.
Okay. So it had to take a private person. Okay, I was following up, and it got to a point. My following up gave me a lead, to the presidency itself, and my lead. And my source told me that no, the report has been here.
I see.
It's been here. And that was why I wrote to the presidency. My point is that this should have been done by the media, and particularly those who broke the news. They should have been interested, not me. Otherwise, then we are serial news breakers. Breaking news for the sake of wanting to be tagged as or known as the first to have broken a news without following through on interventions aimed at addressing the challenges you may have unearthed as I indicated earlier, is inconsequential to the quest to promote good governance. Well, we wrote, fortunately, the presidency responded that they have received the report and they are studying it. People were asking whether I was elated. I said, no, I wasn't elated because we should, given the heightened public interest in the matter, the moment it was received, we should have been given an information, at least that, well, we've received it. And I was also thinking that, yes, we should have been brought into the picture. We should have been made to know that at least the report has been submitted. It didn't have to take pushing for it, for an acknowledgement of receipt, of the letter. Secondly, the content of my letter, I said that the president should let the people of Ghana know what there is in the report. If there is corruption, if the deal stinks, we have the right to know. Let us know. If the deal stinks, if somebody is caught, let us know. So who caused it? What is the nature of the deal? How stinky is it? Who is benefiting from it? We have to know. The right to information. It was bill was assented to into law by President Akufo-Addo. And so, first of all, we have to know. We demand that we get to know the contents of the report. And it is not up to the presidency to tell us that we are studying it. We are studying. I mean, you are studying what? You cannot study the document in perpetuity. I think that KPMG would have written in a simple English language that if you spend about 1 hour, 2 hours, you'll be able to read and digest it. We shouldn't allow the presidency to tell us that we are studying the document and in due course we would act or something. Because in Ghana, every now and then new things are happening. And so we don't want a situation where other new things come in to just torpedo what should be on the front burner of public discourse. We don't want that. And the other thing that I want to, the other point I want to make is that I plead with President Akufo-Addo because, see, my teacher, Professor Emmanuel Jimabuedi, once said openly, I don't know whether on this network, but he said, I listened to him on radio, I watched him on TV. He said, look, as for President Akufo-Addo, his track record in the fight against corruption is in tatters. He said it. I said, hey, my teacher, what are you saying? And when I was sad that he could give such damning judgment of the track record of President Akufo-Addo in the fight against corruption, and I'm telling him that all is not lost. How he handles this report would show whether he's interested in doing things that would help him secure a certain image, for himself. So if there is corruption in the deal, let us know. If there is no corruption in the deal, and that we have also unnecessarily run somebody's image in the mud, let us know. It is up to us up to the presidency to take this kind of bold step and initiative to ensure that we are all brought into the picture. And I believe that it will help him. It will help him inch closer to a certain legacy that would reduce the derogatory description of his track record in the fight against corruption as being in tatters. But if he chooses to go the route that he's gone with us as a people of Ghana for so many years, for the past 7 years, he's gone a route with us of not listening to whatever we say. I don't care about whatever you do, but I will not listen. I have argued and advocated last week here that then two things: we should begin to legislate against, as I indicated last week, presidential dead-goatism.
What does that mean?
Presidential, don't you know dead goat? Presidential dead goatees, the practice of exiting president thinking that because I am going, I do not care about whatever you do. We gave you the mandate. And so we should, as a nation, begin to think about some of these things. When a president has served his term and is left with about 6 months to exit power, how should he conduct himself? Should we all look on, even if he is mortgaging our interest for something else that we all don't want? Should we just keep quiet and allow him to go on that tangent and simply say that, oh, tomorrow he's gone, so let us keep quiet? I think we should be able to make legislations to govern how presidents would conduct themselves when they know that they are exiting. The other bit is about the future electoral fortunes of the ruling MPP. Now, if you are thinking about going to rescue power, or you're thinking about going to retain power or to break an 8, you would have to be campaigning and be talking to people, the people of Ghana. Now, if the good people of Ghana are demanding that, well, this is the route we want to go, this is what we want, this is what we don't want, and you have a certain president who is exiting, saying that to hell with what you are saying, I'm not going to listen, then it is going to make, then the certain president is going to make it difficult for the party that birthed him to achieve their dream of breaking the 8 that they want to break. And so I'm arguing that if there are courageous and bold people within the MPP, then they must begin to put in place mechanisms and interventions that would rescue their party from the claws of the exiting president, so that they can think carefully, they can know what to do to break the 8. But if they want to sheepishly keep quiet whilst the president goes contrary to the wishes and aspirations of the people of Ghana, then they will be laughing at the wrong side of their mouth in December 2024, especially when Alan is also showing seriousness and making giant strides in his campaign to also be a force to reckon with in the upcoming election. So I am grateful that at least the presidency came in to say that we have received the report and we are studying it. But I call on the president not to study the document in perpetuity, because we won't allow that. Even if new things come up to hide this, some of us would bring it to the fore and ensure that it continues to dominate and dominate in public, policy discourse. So we call on him to do the right thing. Just ensure that the good people of Ghana are made to know the contents. If there are corrupt deals, or if the deal is really stinky, let us know. And let us know who is culpable, who did what, who must be punished. In
the interest of transparency.
In the interest of transparency and accountability and governmental responsiveness. Let us know. If there's no corrupt deal, the deal is not as stinky as has been made, to look like, in a public domain, then let us also see how we may have then run down the image of people and what we will do to address. But the bottom line, the most important thing is that the good people of Ghana have the right to know about the content of the KPMG report. We will not allow the president to sit on the report.
Professor Jampo, thank you. But there's a message from Seth Bokwe. It's with the 4th Estate. Says, good morning, Alfred and your panelists. Kindly let Professor Jampo know that we had been writing to the presidency, called Eugene and Jefferson Saki a number of times about this report over the period. The number of stories we have written on the back of the SML story was to ensure that this matter stays in the public domain for as long as the report has not been made public by the president, or any news of the report being submitted to the presidency until this week. So it's just responding to
good information, and I accept that. I mean, if this is what they were doing, but the point is that they were fighting SML in the public, and they were fighting. The activities were done publicly. So I was expecting. Okay, I would have loved to see that some of these letters that they were writing were also in the public domain, so that we all know what is being done. But it appears that, per what you've read, it appears that they wrote privately to seek or look for information about what is happening. And in that case, then it fits into my perception that, or it concretizes my perception that, well, then when you break the news, you don't follow up. And if you were truly following up, I mean, it's good for Ghana's democracy.
For example, thank you. Now, Lawyer Martin Pebo, when this matter came up, and obviously the two sides of the story had been going on, but the fundamental questions that were raised in that expose was the claim of SML doing a particular thing, or saying they were doing a particular thing, and even some GRA officials who were captured on tape in that documentary disputing the functions of SML itself. That's what prompted even questions about whether there's value for money and whether we are actually getting what we are giving in terms of payment for the said work that SML, according to this expose, is not doing. Now, if hearing that the report has reached the presidency, it was a week after the report was submitted to the president that we got the announcement publicly by Eugene that indeed the presidency has received the report. It was on the 27th of March. And then we got the news a week later, which was this Wednesday gone by. Now, taking into consideration what's happened in the past, that demand for the details of this report to be made public, will it be one that you would support?
Oh, absolutely. So we are starting with making the report public, right? That's not negotiable. It has to come. I mean, the president cannot sit on it. No. We've gone too far. Our democracy.
Well, there's been instances where some reports have not been made.
If it does that, then he will just be strengthening the hands of JM again. If Akufo-Addo sits on that report, he'll be strengthening JM again, because when JM's own under him, JIDA, etc., Roland Agambri, those. And by the way, Roland once again is behind these school laptops
that's what's
and
being
teachers.
Reported. We don't know.
Yeah, but Roland is behind it. After the MPP had demonized Roland, he's stolen this, he's stolen that. He's behind the contract. One of his companies, the subsidiaries, is behind the teacher's laptop, and you see there's a breach again because we didn't punish his companies enough. The teacher's laptop, Agambri himself and his subsidiary is behind that contract.
That we are looking
and the one with the SHS people. I want us to go into it, because if in opposition you could talk about it, and then you come into government, you are dealing with the same person. So were you deceiving us? Is it all lies? So let's go.
They were going to collect our money from Woyome Forest. They came and
now
Woyome.
Yes.
Woyome.
And then
watching the.
Yes.
Then you come to power, and then Woyome is still working. You have not collected our money for us.
Thank you.
I mean, what is that?
The last time I asked the Attorney General to give us an update, he hasn't. So, Mr. Dami, please do one more good show.
Well, some properties were supposed to be gonna shade and so on.
Yes.
We don't
know what has happened.
Yes.
Okay, so the point is that if he does that, then it means that once again he can. That's if Akufo-Addo doesn't release a report, then once again he can't even light a candle to JM, because in JM's regime, when the JIDA, this corruption and all those things came, that one too, I think it was Manasseh's work. Look, listen, JM released a full report. He released it, so if you Google, you'll find it. So, yes, we know JM has roundly beaten Akufo-Addo. It's too late. Akufo-Addo can never fight JM when it comes to corruption. But he should at least be seen to be attempting. Because JM's worst performance, the 43. That's the Akufo-Addo's best performance for 4 years in a row. 43. I'm talking about the corruption perception. Yeah, so it's done. It's done. But at least Akufo-Addo should be seen attempting to fight. He shouldn't give, otherwise then he should leave. Because last August or September at the party, what do you call it, was it the party elections, the flag bearer race. He said for him, we should wait for the new president, right? Wait for the new leader to come and take us out of the economic doldrums. And so I thought that then the natural thing he had to do at the time was to resign with Bawumia. And you know that Article 60, Clause 13 of the Constitution, if the vice and if the president and the vice resign, the speaker will be in charge for only 3 months and will have fresh elections. So you see that our constitution provides for early elections. When as a leader you've seen that you are bereft of ideas, you've run off out of ideas, you can't, you don't have what it takes to govern. Like Akufo-Addo himself said, should have left. He's been wobbling and wobbling.
Did he say he doesn't have what it takes to govern?
But that's why he said.
At what point did the president say that he doesn't have what it takes to govern?
He said for the economy, they asked, are you aware the times are hard? The economy is not gaining its strength. People are suffering. And he said, oh, let's leave it for the new leader. Do you want us to play it?
No, wait, but let me give it to the president said that he doesn't want have what it takes to govern.
Yes, why he says leave it for the next leader.
That's not exactly
that is the meaning of it. That's my interpretation.
That's your interpretation.
When you are asked, are you aware times are hard, you're not doing well, you are not taking us, you know, this, I'll change the economy within 18 months, I'll change the structure, blah. Then he says, oh, let's leave that for the next leader. It means that he is finished, he's done. He's checked out. So it's still going on.
They have laid the foundations. They've laid the foundations. The next leader will come and
must be able to make
foundations of sand. What foundation? When we've retrogressed, even by some accounts, it will take us 10 years. The bond matters. You know, Mr. Ocansey referred to Dr. Ejekum. Oh, Kama. See how the man was crying. You know, other people, I have forgotten last year by this time, wasn't also for Kufu who came to save us. When the pensioners were struggling with the Minister of Finance. See, we've retrogressed by at least 10 years. Ask the financial analyst. Will tell you to get all the figures and all those indicators back to good shape and everything. Right. Some are saying 10 years, minimum 5. Why have we been shut out of the international capital market? It's going to take years. So there's no foundation, please. Rather, we are in a crater, like his cathedral. Yes, cathedral. Like the cathedral hole he's dug. That's it. But that's where he's
okay, please.
So the point we are making is that if Akufo-Addo doesn't release that report, then once again he will just make JM. He will listen. Enhance the position. Yes, enhance the position of JM. He coronates him again as what? A saint. Because once again, JM would have done better, though JM is already finished him. Because the GIDA report, as I said, is out there. So your question was that, do we have basis to say you should release it? Yes. But there's one point that I'll say something for Akufo-Addo. That one is, of course, by the practice. I think that we are stampeding him. I'm not in favor of that we're going to KPMG. But well, it's too late. We couldn't fight enough. We'll come to that if there's time. But if you look at the time they got it, Prof, I'm hearing 27th March, right?
Yes.
If you look at audit reports, even the audit service, let me make the point in case I don't get time to refer to the section. Even our audit, act, the Audit Service Act, right? When they bring audit report, like they call it management letter, when they are done with the audit and there are issues and the rest, they will say, oh, address us. So when we went into the audit, this didn't add up, that didn't add up. You have 30 days to respond. So I don't think that we have basis to say when KPMG brought the report, it should be less than 30. Because after all, it's also in governance. So if Auditor General does his work and there are issues, people are named, we can't, Mr. X took some funds, we can't find the funds, etc. The management letter gives the person 30 days, 1 month to respond. As far as I'm aware, it's in somewhere in the Audit Service Act. So I think the same should apply. So they have some time so that people who have been cited in the report should be given time to respond. So that's one. So I don't think it's time to release it yet. But as I said, for me, once Bryce Simmons and Co, they've shown that KPMG is not an independent actor. KPMG is a big GRA. Listen, is KPMG's big customer. They do business. So there wasn't that independence. So, Prof, I disagree with you when you said, listen, you supported going to KPMG. We should have constituted a truly independent audit. And it didn't have to be one firm. Maybe you choose, if there's somebody very talented in KPMG, you choose him, choose somebody from Auditor General's, outfit, etc. But KPMG is not that independent. I don't support it. But well, the horses have bolted. We couldn't fight enough. Yes, so I can say so. That those are two legs of your question, right? Then the third one goes, as you mentioned, we saw public officers saying plainly that they don't know what SML is doing there. So please, let's be very clear. There can be no question that anybody is run down SML. There can't be any question like that. Let's be very clear. Because even before we continue with the public officer, so we want to address this because, Prof, you kept addressing it, that we've run down somebody. Nobody's been run down. They themselves got publications on Daily Graphic front page. I'm sure we can put it. SML saves over 3 billion, XYZ. They were deceiving us. When Manasseh put the question to the MD, Soti, when they asked Soti, you see Soti was all over the place. We are allowed to do it. Those are facts.
Report.
No,
I'm just saying that. No, the point is this.
I've not referred to any report. I'm saying we are not with facts in the public.
Listen, let us not prejudge.
No. We will discuss this to the fullest.
We can discuss, but I'm saying that
this to the fullest. There's nothing.
Listen. We've asked and you agree. You are supporting the call that the contents of the report be made public.
Yes.
And so
I'm not discussing the report. I'm discussing the fact that when the report comes, we'll discuss the report. We are discussing the
if what you said, what you claim to be indisputable fact is not disputable, then what was the relevance for setting up the committee?
Yes, you know the committee
setting up.
It's never been a practice that there's a gag or not.
But you understand what I'm saying? If what we know is the truth, is the gospel truth, then what was the essence of asking KPMG? So let them come out with the reports.
No, there's no such.
Let them come out with the report and let's so that we can discuss.
Otherwise, continue. So Daily Graphic published front page that SML makes over 3 billion savings. Manasseh asked Christian Soti, and he was all over the place. He doesn't know about it. Then Manasseh said, "It's not on your website. Look here." He doesn't know. Well, you know the pictures are here. You can play back the documentary. So nobody can be here to say anybody's run down SML. They themselves, so far from the preliminary facts, they themselves have thrown themselves under the bus. He couldn't defend the 3 billion.
You see, you cannot be addressing just one side of
it's not one side.
I'm saying that if somebody did something that was wrong, let us know.
It doesn't even arise. It doesn't even arise.
What doesn't arise?
From the documentary. Nobody will be asking a question about it.
You cannot swallow. Listen, the documentary that we're told that the deal was a contract of 10 years. Wasn't it in the documentary? We cannot swallow hook, line, and sinker everything that was shown in the documentary. Because in the documentary we were told that the contract was 10 years.
Yes,
and later we were given another information that it was 5. And so you can't swallow everything hook, line, and sinker. So I'm saying that let us approach this matter with trepidation.
There will be no trepidation. We are going 9 years. This is Soti was asked. Thank you. Look at it. 3 billion saved since 2020. Soti was asked in this documentary, and he says he doesn't know anything about this. MD, what are you saying? There is a difference.
No, but my point.
So let me go on to the next one.
Let us see the content.
Prof, when you were talking,
let's proceed.
My second point.
Indeed. Let's proceed.
Yes. So my second point is that then number 2. When Mustafa Hamid was asked, of course, you know I have my beef with him after all his wallahi, Ghana should be saved. When he was asked about the contract, he said, he was shedding tears, crocodile tears, it turned out to be. He said, he is here to see. Can you imagine? Simpapeni, MPA boss.
No. Counsel.
No, when I say...
No, Counsel, wait. You see, I would want us to double down on the characterization. You would make your point without necessarily having to characterize the persons with this. Please, respectfully, if you can kindly withdraw that expression that you use to characterize the person.
Let's explain what it is. It's not negative. I will withdraw, but let's understand it. What is the meaning of sympathy? Sympathy is when somebody is in charge by in practice.
I'm saying you can make the point without necessarily having to
No, so it's not a bad case. So if I had said, listen, Mustafa,
Council,
it's mother not fancy.
Yes. Council, wait.
I'm not council.
I'm not.
It's not negative.
I'm not saying it is negative.
Okay, no, withdrawn. Let's go. Okay, withdrawn. Let's go on.
Let's.
Yeah, so Mustafa Hamid, in charge of MPA, says he doesn't know. Oh, so what are you telling us? That a savior was brought, that a groundbreaking technology was brought, that a game changer was brought, and the boss of the MPA himself didn't know. Oh, please. That alone is sufficient for me to know that this deal was never meant to do anything better. The boss of the MPA, and as you mentioned, the issue at stake is that sometimes people take quantities of oil, all right, above what is officially written on paper. So in simple terms, they are stealing the oil as they try to transport it, etc. And you're saying that a game changer was brought, and the boss of the entity in charge of the transportation and all those things doesn't know. So for me, there's a lot in it. So it's never any game changer. It was just a scheme to steal money. The next point is that you had the GRA officer, when he was asked, these SML figures, what do you do with it? He says they don't use those data. The officer is very clear in the data and the documentary. He says they don't use the SML data. That's not what they rely on. So it means that we're just being fleeced. So based on these points, I'm sorry, nobody would ever be able to say that anybody has run down SML. It's not possible. It's not. I mean, you can say that publicly because it's an opinion, but it won't go far because it's based on facts. Facts that you see individuals who deal with. So the GRA officer, he's a desk officer.
I don't
he's in charge.
I want what is factual. I don't understand it. I'm saying that an investigative body has been commissioned to do a piece of work. If there are corrupt deals, if the deal is stinky, they would corroborate all the instances or what we are talking about. So let us rather focus our attention on keeping the presidency on its toes with a view to ensuring that the report is brought to the public domain.
Yeah, but you made that point. But there are other angles.
The angles you are just walking. Let me just allegations and trying to just use one-sided. Now somebody. I don't like a situation. So I don't like a situation where we are one-sided in the way we look at it.
Prof, this is what you know. You and I we date over 2 decades.
But so what about that? I said I don't like what you are doing.
So let me make my point.
So yes, Mr. Ocansey. The fact that we date over 2 decades does not mean that if you are.
I think that
if I don't like what you are doing, I shouldn't tell you.
Lawyer Matubebo want to take the conversation cannot be dictated to you.
Yes.
I think that, but then again, also because you are making reference to what is publicly known.
Exactly.
In the documentary.
Yes.
Nothing beyond that.
Yes.
So I acknowledge that.
Yes.
So proceed.
Oh. Yeah.
Now you are teaming up with
yeah, so the GRA officer who is in charge, okay, the person who helps in calculating taxes and doing all those things, the man who has all the data says that these things SML has been churning out, they don't use that. Hey, Charlie, and the man was very clear, and that's a public officer, and knowing that he was on record, he was being interviewed by a journalist. With video and camera, and he said that, oh, SML, what they do, we don't use it, forget it. Can you imagine? That goes very far, and he's talking GRA, knowing very well that, hey, if they say you are saying turns out to be false, you are gone. You are gone, because this is public service. You know, since this government came, they've been intimidating public officers, and so people don't want to talk, etc., right? But for this officer to look in there, what's his name? We should commend him that he didn't run away from the camera. He sat there. Yes, that's his name. We should laud him, because when public officers are bold, we should laud them. He said that we don't use the data churned out by SML. So is that not causing financial loss? And don't forget to. The contract was signed by the Ministry of Finance. Oforiatta signed it, and Oforiatta is the president's brother. So for Oforiatta to go back that the contract should continue, and yet the president says no, suspend it. You think that one is a joke? You know, the president will always support his brother, right? Because when we borrow, they make money. So for the president to, yes, the bonds, you think we will leave that matter to die? It never dies.
You said that you're going to go to court.
Oh, we are going.
Matter.
Oh, I'm lacing my boots.
You are.
Oh, yeah, I'm lacing. I'm very close.
To go to court.
Very close. Oh, you'll see it one of these days.
On this.
Very, very, very close. The bonds, every time we borrow, then Data Bank makes money. Every time we borrow, then Data Bank makes money. And Data Bank is owned partly by Ofuriatta, the president's brother.
So what are you going to challenge in court
president
exactly?
Has become, Kufado's family has become very rich. We're going to say that it's a breach of the public trust. Ofuriatta can't come into office and then they will rig the system. Before they came in, there were about 17 companies that were primary dealers or so. Even the number is not 17, it was a huge number. Then they rigged it and restricted it now to Data Bank, IC Security, and I think EcoBank. So when we issue the bonds, the primary dealers, so all the rest have to go and buy from these three companies. So every time we issue the bond, they make money. And also for the transaction, as transaction advisors, etc. That's a breach of public trust.
So it is on the breach of public trust that you are going to court?
Yeah, they have to return the money.
You are going to test the law on this
return
matter.
it. Oh,
okay, yes,
that
I
fight
just
will be
wanted
on.
to establish that.
Okay. He won't get this in peace. No,
all right.
He'll be coming to court. You will see him very soon in the box.
So you
will be cross-examining. He knows.
I'll wait for that.
Yeah, hold on. I'm telling you that it's close. Relax. It's close.
You have said it on this platform.
He'll enter the box.
It is my responsibility to hold you to your word. So you.
Maybe I should do like Mustafa Hamid.
So in the end, you want the details of this report to be made public.
Absolutely.
There shouldn't be any way beyond that. Let's hear from Manasseh Azuri-Awuni, who is a former.
Thank you,
gentlemen. A former editor-in-chief of the Fourth Estate, who led the team to investigate this GRA SML deal. No, he's no longer the editor-in-chief.
He's going to Harvard.
Because he is in Harvard now for a fellowship, joining us from the U.S. Manasseh, first of all, a quick reaction to this development, at least the information from the presidency, that they have received the KPMG report and the president is studying the report, will also make his decisions public in coming days. Hello, Manasseh.
Well, we expected that report to have been out or submitted to the president by the 23rd of February. And so if it is a month, I also think it is understandable because we all want a thorough job. It should be about how fast the audit was done, but how well comprehensive and credible it is. So for me, I don't really have so much problem with the over a month's delay. What we are interested in, just like the JIDA report, which the MPP and civil society at the time in 2013 put so much pressure, and then the full JIDA report was released and it is online. So it is normal for him to study it, but we all want to have a copy or copies of the report published so that we can scrutinize, because there's already a lot of skepticism about whether or not the president is committed to doing something credible on this. Some even think that engaging
the last
KPMG was meant to just whitewash the whole deal. So it is his responsibility to prove us all, or prove his doubters wrong.
I see, but then, so you support that call by all the persons who have spoken, Professor Ranso Jampo and Lawyer Martin People. This report must be made public for us all to see the details of it beyond the president's decision, because what Eugene talks about being made public is the president's decision on the report, not the details of it. Manasseh.
Why? Not the president's decision.
because the issues are pretty well known, and KPMG being ordered by the president had more access than some of us did. We actually had access to the major issues as to whether the contract was needed, as to whether the work the company said they were doing, which they advertised, whether they were doing it. They actually publicly admitted that they were not doing those works, as to whether they had saved so much as they claimed in various media reports. They publicly admitted in our documentary that they were not doing, they hadn't saved Ghana that much. They admitted they were not checking underreporting. They were not checking diversion. They were not checking dilution. Now the question is, what were they doing? And that is what we want to know. So whether or not the report indicts the company and GRA and the finance ministry, we would still want to have a full a copy of the report, because KPMG, as you may have known, has also come under serious scrutiny for accepting that work, because KPMG is a client of the finance ministry and also GRA. So it is like a company being asked to audit the one that pays it to do its work. And so KPMG itself has, in this case, and normally when governments issue white papers, we know that the white paper may not necessarily reflect everything in the report. The white paper is issued by a political group or the government, but I would be happy to see every word that is contained in the report, based on which the president would communicate his action.
I see. Already, SML had indicated that they were even going to court. In fact, they've gone to court. Understand? They've sued you, Manasseh, and then also the Fourth Estate for defamation in this particular case. It's one that we'll get into, but let me bring in Alex Sebefia as well on this, because I'll ask some questions on this matter. I mean, getting to know the details as published. And now, I mean, I'm talking about the documentary. And now there was back and forth about the engagement of KPMG. Well, they've done their work. They've submitted their work to the presidency. So with all the concerns that were raised about the engagement of KPMG, there are some, as has been referenced here, who make the point strongly that it would even be to the good of the audit institution itself that this report is made public, so we get to know the kind of work they did, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Alfred. And I think Ghana is in a very unfortunate position in terms of how we view our investigative bodies, or how we see investigations that are to be carried out, whether by private groups or, for that matter, government institutions. It was interesting, I heard my colleague singing a song from past regarding
which one?
Was there a KPMG or independent audit report on Woyome or a government inquiry? No. The point I'm making is this.
From the Auditor General, yeah. So it started from the Auditor General, then Kennedy blew it up.
But that was the Auditor General's normal report.
Yeah.
There was no special body put up to look into it.
Yeah.
But we were able to send him to court.
Yeah.
And the prosecution was started, which he was acquitted.
Yeah.
Based on Manasseh's report, there's no need for any KPMG report. I prosecute.
Yeah.
CID should just have gone and picked people up one by one, not picked, but invited people.
Why is that? I mean,
because there are clear cases of certain things which are wrong on that report alone, on the documentary. And if you want to find out the detail, look, the reason I'm very careful with this issue is that we saw the same thing happen with the Yana case. The Yana case was a case where people have gone and shot weapons against them. Somebody is beheaded. There was no need for a government inquiry. This is an issue where you go, find out who has investigate it, and criminal proceedings are brought. Instead, they went through a government inquiry. And the people who then went and gave evidence at the inquiry were now compromised. Because once you go through a government inquiry where witnesses cannot exercise their right of silence, which had now come public, you cannot now use their evidence in a criminal prosecution. So sometimes these inquiries create stumbling blocks for proper processes to be gone through. If you have a situation where the report is very clear that certain things have been done, hand it over to YOCO, to the bodies, and let them do their investigation and do their work. In any event, we had a public inquiry on Ayawasu West Wagon. The report came out, it was published. And the white paper that came out totally rubbished everything that was more or less in the... So that is where the issue about KPMG being already on the face of others, compromised in their position, creates a problem. In order for them to show that, because everybody has watched the documentary, publish the report immediately. Immediately. Whatever the government is going to do with the report or not, it's a different matter. Whenever they get the report, if they want to study it, it's different. The report is out. By next week, it should be out. Because it's not a case where you should be telling KPMG, go and change this line, go and change it. No. The report is out there. Give it for all of us to read what is there, to create some semblance that at least the right thing is being done. So I'm clear in my mind on this whole issue. We are digging holes for ourselves in terms of this so-called investigation. Look, you cannot tell me that for the first time in an election of 8 years, of what's it called, 1992 to now, 8 people die, and there's nobody being prosecuted at the moment. Nothing has happened. A whole inquiry was done, government, and the inquiry that was done, the report is damning of certain people. But somehow, using legal language or whatever, we have got a white paper that is telling us that people are not culpable. I don't necessarily agree with the content of the white paper. This was a matter where people should have been picked up and immediately interrogated by criminal investigation bodies. And that is why I'm saying that even this matter, on Manasseh Azuri's own report, people should have been called and a full investigation should have been carried out on criminality. After all, that's how the case of Women started. When he went to court and he lost, he was acquitted. Then they went, Cities Dilinanti then went on the civil tangent. So you don't need sometimes these organizations to come and muddy the waters of what is happening. I'm clear that this report should be published immediately so that we all know what is in that report and to give credibility. As for whether or not every day the MPP is totally confused. Why? On the one hand, you have a presidential candidate who can't make up his mind whether he's part of the government currently or he's not part of the government. So when you have a situation where you are denigrating your government by the statements you are making, because everything you want to do are things that your government have put in place, then at the same time, your own president is doing things that are not helping you to come in political palace. Because this issue is a huge issue for Ghanaians. And we are not talking of peanuts. The way we're talking is $52 million. This is a company that was going to make $100 million in 1 year. So you are looking at 5 years, $500 million. So it is not chicken change. And for doing what? We heard the documentary. The person says that everything you're doing is a duplication. We don't even follow, take your figures. So are they come to tell us that it's not true, they take their figures now, or what? We all heard it. We all saw the documentary. So on the face of it, my senior, it stinks. The question or not is whether it's more money that you can put into a stew and eat, or it's a dead cadaver, which you must discard. But as for the stinking, it stinks already. Let us be clear on that one. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, it is clear. You know,
please explain what's a dead cadaver.
No, it's tautology. I'm saying that look, or a dead animal or whatever that you have to throw away, or whether it's more money that when you put into a stew, you get something good from it. And as for the thinking, is thinking.
Well, some of the thinkings are positive thinking.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. More money is not a bad thing if you know what you are going to do with it.
So a cadaver is a dead human body.
Yes,
dead human body.
whatever. Yes. So you don't need that. But anyway, you know the point I'm making.
Yeah.
So the issue for me is that this is an issue. Manasseh has, and he has just given us the facts as to whether you go through a independent. And yes, you can do it. We did it with Jida. We did it with. So you've gone down that road. I'm saying there are pitfalls in that. And when the report comes, you must be seen to be acting on it. Ejira, was it? Where the shooting took place.
Yeah.
Wasn't the report? What has come of the report? What has come of the report? So sometimes when people are skeptical about one, whether there should even be a report in the first place, and two, whether or not the government will follow the content of the report, is based on facts as to the record and how they have behaved. And they haven't behaved well. They have not in recent past. And I'm talking of the last 7.5 years that we've had Nana Aduas. So, but from a political point of view, Ghanaians are watching. And they keep this way. I said that there's confusion in their house. Because they are complete doing contradictions, and even the simple things that will help their case, they won't. So when Martin was saying that, oh, they are giving the state, the way they are handling, they should continue. They should continue.
But
each day,
Ghanaians that suffer, so you don't say.
No,
you don't
because,
have to say they should
but
continue.
we have suffered 7.5 years.
We will suffer.
No, we've suffered 7.5 years.
So we should continue.
6 months won't do any difference. We are, and the truth of the matter
last days are dangerous.
No, you yourself said it. The truth of the matter is that the person doesn't listen. So if you even think that after 7.5 years he didn't listen, your 6 months he's come to make a difference, then you are fooling yourself. He's not going to listen. So this is how the track that he has decided to take, and that's fine.
Are you saying that the call for the report to be made public because of precedents will not be heeded to by the president, or what?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the timing and the haste in which you do it adds to the credibility factor of it. So it is out.
But if you take into consideration what Lawyer Martin Bebo said,
Martin is talking of the review of it by the presidency. He's not talking of when the public should know it.
Let me just come briefly.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Assuming that, just 3 seconds. Assuming your name is mentioned in that, it was Honorable Segbefia who did this. You are not aware KPMG has your name in there.
How do you say
so
that?
when KPMG is done,
are you saying that KPMG when they did the report they didn't interview people?
No, not necessarily. Well, or even if they did, whatever they finally write, you won't know. So at least you should be given an opportunity to react to what is in their report. It helps. I think.
So
you are. He's an experienced prosecutor. You know, in England, he was a prosecutor for about 20 years, right?
You see,
but once we've started, let's finish it well.
Yes, but I'm saying
that's why I said we didn't fight well to stop it.
When
once it started,
when the president's report came out on Ayawasu West Wogon, who did they call to get a response back before they issued their report? Who did they make contact with?
So that one is different because they were cross-examined there, and also.
And I'm saying that
KPMG
you do not know how KPMG
without
speaking
and
to people.
Also, Honorable, you know the Constitution gives you the right when the report comes out because it's a constitutional inquiry. You can go to court, but this KPMG one is a private one.
So let me ask you: when Public Accounts Committee come out with their report, even when they have written to the companies to give responses, and some of the findings challenged are there, and then they say go back and clear. So why is it this? Look, we are dealing with credibility factors.
Oh, he's already done. This won't save him. So just let him go to
publish the report as is. If you go and do your inquiry, and you find that A, B, C, D, how many times haven't people written? And it's true that you are saying that if the presidency go and do an inquiry, and they say, oh, we don't agree, it means they have to send it back to KPMG.
Yes.
And KPMG now has to go and interview people all over again.
Precisely.
So we are going to wait for another 2 months before we get the content of the initial report.
But
the whole idea for asking for 1 month extra time is to clarify these issues. The report is based on talking to people. It is not a report that is done in isolation of the people. And if you come and tell me I'm saying A, and they find evidence that your A is not A, it should have been B, so they have put it in the report.
And so show it to him.
Are you saying that they do not know? The people who have been spoken to.
But due process, let him know you're finding.
But you are making an assumption.
The emphasis on hold on. The emphasis on due process is also equally important.
I don't dispute
as the demand to make it public.
That is why I'm saying that. Are you saying that the people who were interviewed and the conclusions drawn or the way, are you saying they don't have an understanding as to the conclusions that have
good. Honor, we know what we do, middle of the road. Then my understanding is that then, at the time the presidency will be releasing the final report, they should give us the draft. The original one. So the original one that came out, and based upon which certain people were asked to make the input. Let's see it, and let's see the final one. I think, yes, when we see the
well, if you put it that way, yes. I'm okay.
Yes.
But I want to see the original.
Yes, okay. Yes, I agree. But let them come at the same time.
If you are trying to go and change things that they have already written, then what's the point of sending it to the president?
If you bring it out right now, there'll be so much chaos before we hear them. So bring them out simultaneously at the same time.
So that we know.
Yes, so that we know what has been clarified and what the position is.
Yes.
And what conclusions have been drawn.
Yes.
But that is my, initial take. And I don't agree with my colleague, even though it's been clarified. The media has actually been fantastic on this one. It's not a question of them being hasty or whatever, because of the nature and the facts. And the nature, you have some investigations, but this investigation, the main people involved were interviewed live, and they gave answers. We saw it, we've all heard it, and you cannot retract what you have said based on the opportunity you were given. So we are clear in our mind on that. So I think that this issue of checking the tankers and whatnot, it was clearly investigated in that documentary, and the answers were that no, it's not. They are not doing anything that is not already being done. Then you have to look at let's even talk about, there is a semblance of right in what they are doing. The quantum of the contract in itself raises eyebrows.
Thank you.
The quantum, because you are looking at $100 million every year. What are you doing, Clara? What is it? Let's look at the total distance of the industry itself. So the whole thing has a smell. It stinks. And you are trying to convince me that it's more money. And I know that.
It's a cadaver.
You're live here on Key Point. Professor Jabo, I know you want to make a point. I'll come back to you. But let me just read this, a few messages from Dr. Kwame Asante says, if the president has to review the report, please note that GRA is the auditee and not the presidency. So the phase where the auditee has to review the report before it is finalized must have been done by now. So it means the report has already been finalized and must only be released. So that's just buttressing the point that...
I'm telling you that they have to release it.
Let's go this way. I have a question. When usually in the act, the person is entitled to 30 days. Let's look. The thing was released when? 27th. Oh, no. I think this, let's slow down.
Okay. Well, look, I hear you. But...
So this is specifically on the point about the review of the report. I think by this time, based on the fact that, at least based on the processes of audit, as has been stated, so that review
so it concerns the president. Look, it concerns the president. The presidency, even under Article 58, the executive power is in the hands of the president, right? So GRA, those government, they help him to execute his mandate. So if he has questions, absolutely. As for this one, look, it's not negotiable. Once we have it in the audit service,
Manasseh wants to make a point.
Grant them.
Yes, let's hear quickly from, Manasseh, quick one.
Saying that I'm not new to defamation suits. And before this SML suit was announced, I'm yet to be served anyway. I had been sued 8 times for defamation since 2015. Out of those 8 suits, 7 of them abandoned or ran away from their cases when I filed my defense. So only 1 of them went to trial. And I'm saying that they have the right to go to court. I have the right to respond myself.
But we can't go in there. Why?
Sorry, there was some interruption here. Yes. So what I'm saying is that they absolutely have the right to go to court, and I also have the right to defend myself because I still believe in the issues that we reported in that investigative piece. So when I'm served, my lawyers will respond accordingly.
Manasseh Azura, well, thank you.
When I mentioned Women, I was, because of the monies involved, I used dollars. Women was cedis.
Cedis, yes.
2 million cedis. It wasn't dollars. Let's be clear on that.
Okay. And we are receiving so many messages about the absence of an NPP rep on this show this morning. As I indicated before we started, per the communication between my production team and the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, formerly of the Environmental Protection Agency, was supposed to join us. He's also a private legal practitioner, for that matter, was to join us this morning, as communicated to us by the persons who handle the communications for the party. We had information this morning that there was an emergency that he had to attend to. And I put that on record before we started the program. We have contacted the communications of the party, and in fact the presidency for that matter, before we started the program. As around 6 a.m., they indicated to us that Eric Chum, formerly of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, was supposed to replace Dr. Henry Kokofu this morning. We have been trying to get through to Eric Chum for the past 2.5 hours. He is not picking his telephone call. We got back to the communications of the party. They have indicated they are trying to get someone to come in as quickly as possible. So just to put it on record that we are still corresponding with them. It was not intentional on their part, I would assume, because there was an emergency with the person who was advertised to be here. But it is worth putting it on record that this is what has been happening, and we are still in communications with the party. Professor Jampo.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think your information, and when I got here, I didn't see any of them. I was a bit worried. And let them know, I've toned down because they are not here. So that it doesn't look like we are all...
But the prof is working for them.
I've toned down because they are not here.
He's working for them. You're not just toned down.
No, I've not spoken for anybody. I said I've toned down.
It's okay.
No, I'm not saying...
it's not... No, I know you're not saying it in
I've toned down because they are not here. And I didn't feel too good
indeed
with the absence. So if you are still in touch with them, it is good that you let the public know that you haven't deliberately decided to exclude them. I mean, it's good. But I would want to make one small point, and then maybe, I don't know whether we'll jump to the other issue. But I don't think, respectfully, that such a professional body like KPMG will do this kind of work that has all eyes watching without speaking to those important stakeholders or those involved and giving them the chance to defend themselves and to speak to some of the issues. So if you say they haven't done that and we are now going to give it to the president and then people are going to be asked to respond to it, then we will do this work in perpetuity. I think I want to believe that.
So you agree with me?
I agree with you. Today I don't know why Martin is doing what he's doing.
I have forgotten that I've also spoken for the president, indeed, right? Indeed. I'm justified why he's still keeping the report. Because it's long.
So I believe that KPMG may have spoken to the affected, and so I insist, like we've all said, the president.
No, excluding me.
No, the presidency must. You think that the report should be there for 30 more days?
Like give the people the opportunity to respond.
Yes. The report must be out now for us to know If for nothing at all, let us know what is in it now.
Okay.
And then if there are things that will have to be sorted out later, I mean, they can be done. Okay. But we have the right to know what is in the,
Indeed.
In the report.
Thank you very much. You're live here on Key Point, also on 3FM 92.7 and on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Now, one other issue that came up and that's generated a lot of public reaction. Apart from the Doomsaw situation, which we will get to, we have a big conversation on this Gridco report that we got details of, that gives us some detail of why we're experiencing these power outages. Plus, the letter they wrote to the energy minister complaining about ECG's non-compliance to their directive, which could be very catastrophic to the power system that we have in this country. So we'll deal with that. But passport fees have gone up by some 400%, the passport application fees. There was some explanation given by both the majority caucus in Parliament, that's the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and also the Foreign Affairs Minister. I want us to take a listen to Shirley Ayoko Botwe, the Foreign Affairs Minister, responding to the concerns about this increment in the passport fees. Take a look.
Passport applicant pays 100, the state absorbs 300. It cannot be the case that it will continue because it is affecting even our operations. And Ghanaians are complaining that, the service, it takes long to get a passport and all of that. We're not, if government is subsidizing heavily passports, it is difficult to provide any good service. I'm asking humbly Ghanaians that please, if you do not have need for a passport and because you cannot afford it, please, humbly, I'm asking you not to go for a passport.
So that's Shirley Ayoko Botwe there. Now, it says if you have no need for it, don't apply. Because, look, they said they have thousands of applications on a daily basis. And, in fact, they sometimes would have a backlog of, the last time I checked, for the past 2 years, about 70,000 in total. So they have to find a way of dealing with this. As to whether the increase in the passport application fees would solve this problem is another matter altogether. Now, this is the Honorable Andy Apiakubi, who is the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, also addressing the media this week. Take a look.
Because of this realization that it was also a means of identification, governments have had to subsidize passports which have a cost element of 400 Ghana cedis by 300 Ghana cedis. We realize that this subsidy is from the coffers of Ghana as a country. And indeed, it is our own money. All of us contribute to that kitty to underwrite that part of cost. Indeed, how fair would it be for only 20% of us to surcharge all of us the 80% for that which they want for their purpose of travel? It is not fair. Indeed, there are countries that are charging even $200, $150 within the sub-region for the same passport, and indeed some of them even taking passports that only span for 5 years. For anybody to step out to say that they vehemently opposed the review of the fee, it's neither here nor there. The person who is throwing those tantrums is not a member of that committee. And indeed, it was not the work of the Foreign Affairs Committee, which I chair, which he is a ranking. So this is the work of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, and indeed chaired by the NDC Member of Parliament. So it never occurred in the committee meeting that there was protestation as to the recommendation for review. So it was a unanimous decision taken by the committee. So we brought our report to the House, and the report is public document which any one of you can have access to. And the report was adopted by the plenary or the total parliament, and therefore we made a recommendation that it must pass under LI 2481, which is the fees and charges legislation.
The person that John Mandi Apagubi was referring to as throwing tantrums is the Samuel Okudzeto Blackwell, who is the ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. He also responded, but let me start off with you, for example, on this matter, because the justification and the explanation that has been given was that when the ministry was asking for the 32-page as passport to go for as high as 700 Ghana cedis. So the committee, in their view, the subsidiary legislation committee, in their view, did quite some work in considering the economic times we find ourselves in to beat that figure down and so on. So that issue about the economic situation and that this would burden Ghanaians is one that they took into consideration.
Well, I think that, to be fair, we should all appreciate that times are hard. And I don't remember the last time the passport office decided, or the ministry decided, to adjust what we have to pay in acquiring passport. Don't forget that people are willing to pay all manner of fees and monies just to be able to secure or to acquire passport. I favor some increment, and I believe that the good people of Ghana would also appreciate the fact that, look, if it's even a revenue generating venture, then given the fact that all things have gone up, then we should also adjust it a little. But I think that the tune of adjustment is what now is becoming the issue. 400%. You see, if you take out your teeth by force, blood will come. So we were expecting that, yes, there will be some adjustment, but it shouldn't be, even 100%, people will say it's too much, but 400%, I thought that was too much on the high side. And I heard the Honorable Minister speak to this issue. I think she's doing well. She's a lady. She's doing well. Now she's been able to go into agreement with some countries such that you don't need visas to travel there, even though many are saying that they should work harder to ensure that you don't need visa to travel to UK and US. If you tell me you don't need visa to travel to South Africa, what? Now South Africa is no longer an attractive place. People there want to come home because they are killing xenophobia. They are killing people, and so we would urge that they work harder to ensure that we get visa free to the other important countries. But the
I'm sure you're using important in a certain context.
I said okay. I did this.
So the US and
US, UK, Canada, and people want to go there. I don't want to go. People want to go there, so they want it. Exactly. I'm coming there. They want it to be visa free. But you see, in doing all this, I noted this point down. It appears that there is a certain, and like I said, the woman is doing well. I think they have decentralized such that I think the regional capitals, you can go there to acquire your...
We know there are a few issues, yes.
Yeah, major issues.
Well, there's been some decentralization, but my argument has been that they have decentralized, but they have not also demystified the whole idea of passport acquisition. I know people, when it's about passport acquisition, then their heart is palpitating because, hey, how am I going to get it and all that? So I think some work has been done, but when she was asked the point about if you do not need it, don't apply for it, respectfully, Madam Minister, I have a lot of respect for you, but that particular response sounded too napoic.
Exactly.
Okay. We don't, and Ghanaians know.
There's an expression called Napoleon.
When I say it sounded too Napoleon, that is not you. But you see, there is a certain inhuman approach at dealing with Golo boys at the passport offices, and sometimes my heart bleeds. People get up in the morning to go search for greener pastures. They've decided that they will not go and steal, but they will loiter around the areas of the passport offices and offer a certain assistance to people so that they can also go and be able to feed their wives and children. And suddenly we are trying to criminalize them. Suddenly we are trying to undo them. Suddenly we are, and I kept asking myself last night that, look, Martin Pebu, will you go and be a Golo boy? Runs for example, will I go and be a Golo boy? You, host, there's no way you go and be a Golo boy because you have some work that you are doing. And so you cannot undo and criminalize Golo boys without at the same time thinking about the reasons why they want to be Golo boys. Because there's no way I will quit teaching or I will leave the classroom to go and loiter around the area as a Golo boy. So let us be up and doing in finding job for the jobless young people. Until we begin to think about joblessness of the youth as a national security matter, and until we begin to fashion out proactive interventions aimed at addressing them. I'm talking about proactive interventions that's whose outcome will be palpable. I'm not talking about the announcement of 1.6 million jobs that do not reflect reality. The jobs that politicians tend to announce that they have created, I've always argued, are like the fake miracles performed by fake pastors on fake crusade grounds. They always say they have healed a leper, and yet nobody knows the leper. They are always telling us that they provided so much jobs, and yet day in and day out, you have Golo boys loitering around the place. You have people submitting their CVs, people doing all manner of things just to be able to keep their heads, above water. So my point is that when we begin as a nation to put in place mechanisms to deal with Golo boys, we should know that they have wives and children. They don't have work to do. And that is the reason why they are loitering around that area. And if we are caring and we are compassionate government, we should begin to think about what we can do to address joblessness of young people so that people would not, there's no way anybody decently and gainfully employed will go and loiter around the area as a Golo person. And then also, see, why are people complaining so much? Why are people saying that the increments are too much? People are complaining because everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to travel. Now just go to the airport this evening and see the teeming people who want to leave the shores of the country. And my heart bleeds. You see, Honorable, it is not even, I'm not even concerned about the Golo boys and the unemployed who wants to leave. I'm concerned about those who are even working, those who have gotten some education here, those who are supposed to be here and to contribute their quota towards national development, those who are our human resource. They want to travel and they are leaving. My nephew Nyako, he has a very big block factory. The last time I checked, said, I am gone. I met an old classmate last week. What do you do? I have a catering shop that I'm operating. Prof, I beg you. I work. I said, no. I want to leave. And I tried advising her. He said, you don't understand. What they keep telling you, said, you don't understand. It's gotten to that point where people who are supposed to stay and provide, those of you looking at me here, TV3, I can see your faces, your producers and all, they are looking at me. I am sure that if they have the opportunity, they would all want to leave. And I'm saying that, how can a nation, including you, the host, how can a nation develop?
Ocansey can go. You and I can. No, he can't go.
Okay, well, Ocansey, if you can't go, Ghana thanks you. But
I have come.
Well, you have come. Wow. Well, you see, well, some of us,
all of us, over 20 years ago, some of us, those times were harder, but we chose to stay. We went, we came back, holidays, we are staying here.
We are few. Yeah. Some of us have had opportunities to go and teach outside. Yeah. We declined several of them. Okay, but we are few. But my heart bleeds when not even the Guru boys, who I'm not talking about the Guru boys. As for they want to leave. But you're able, educated men and women. We had a forum on migration where I started addressing, one of the director for Center for European Studies. I addressed the students, telling them about the need for them to stay after their education and contribute their quota for national development. And they started laughing at me. I said, oh, why? I thought I wielded some influence over the people that I was teaching. They would listen. For the first time, they busted into laughter, laughing. Quack, 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 quack. He said, come and, if we get the opportunity, we all leave. So when will we govern Ghana to create an environment where its citizenry and its valuable assets, its valuable human resource base would feel comfortable to stay? When will we get there? So it is a bigger issue. I'm saying those complaining are complaining because they all want to leave. But why do they want to leave? Now, if you go and you try to explain to them, they say you don't understand. People are paying huge sums of monies just to be able to acquire visa. Why? I asked them, but you can use this money to do something. They said, no. We don't want to be here. Because you say you don't understand. Okay, so when will we govern the nation such that its inhabitants and citizens will be nationalistic and they will be proud and they would want to stay to contribute their quota towards national development? So we are always churning out our citizenry like printing press, educating them, and the more we educate them, the more they leave. The more we educate them, the more they leave. I think this is a national conversation that we should all have. The rate at which people want to leave, it is so worrying, it is so heartbreaking. I do not see myself going to live in somebody's country and contributing a quota towards their development when Ghana is still impoverished. I want to stay. But those of us with this kind of mentality, we are few. So we must, as a nation, begin to put in place measures, proactive interventions, employment, not underemployment, employment that actually puts food and on the table of those who are recruited into it. Not you say national youth employment and people go there, work for 1 year and they exit and they don't know where they want to go. Can we put in place serious interventions that would ensure that the teeming youth do not leave? Serious interventions that will ensure that even those who are working, they are the ones who make my heart bleed. Those who are gainfully employed, even they are gathering money, they are saving money. What do you want this saving for? I want to go and pay my way into acquiring visa so I can leave. If all Ghanaians will leave, I tell you, there wouldn't be Ministry of Foreign Affairs to even increase visa charges. And so let us begin as a nation to think about what to do to keep Ghanaians here, what to do to whip up the spirit of patriotism in Ghanaians so that they would want to leave. Otherwise, the more people are complaining simply because they just all want to travel. Indeed. I mean, if you don't want to travel, when they are selling headache medicine, the crab is always asleep. If you don't want to travel and you know you are not traveling, you don't care about this increment. But people are complaining because everybody wants to leave. But why is it that everybody wants to leave? We should begin to rethink our governance of our country. Otherwise, we will continue to dissipate our invaluable human resource base that we need to bring about the development of our country.
Perfect point. Professor Jampo, appreciate you on this. Let's take a look at the increment again, the various segments of it. For the 32-page.
But sorry, before you go, let me just make this small point, okay? Because I may ask permission. You know, the flag bearer of the MPP, I think I've heard him say that we can use our Ghana card as passport to travel. I don't know whether
that's very, very good. Very good.
So when will that be operational? Because I have a friend in the US who visited. One day they tested my Ghana card and he started laughing. I said, why? He said, the amount of information stored on the card that you have. Everybody, your mother, everybody is on your card. I said, oh wow! So people are getting to know us like that. So we have it is biometric document, which if we are told that we can use it as a passport, and we are all getting it, then it should solve this problem of increment and other. So I'm asking, what has become of that? Because I'll be traveling next week. I'm not sure I'll be able to use my Ghana card to travel. So if the Ghana card has more information, I'm sure, than even the Ghana card has more information than our passport. We should be able to, as has been said. So if there are measures being put in place,
how would they stamp it?
It's biometric.
How would they stamp it?
It's biometric. They should stamp on the system.
For example, so it is actually in the context that you just referenced that Shele Okoboche made that statement, that to the extent that now the passport is not the source document for identification, if you really don't have need for it, then don't go for it. Because
people are not talking about it's not because of identification. Please, let's not downplay this. The days when people relied on passport as a form of identification, the days are long gone. People are looking for the passport not because they want it as a source document for identification. They want to leave the shores of the country. And I'm saying that we should be worried if you are president of a country and you have governed such that everybody wants to leave. You should be worried.
Look at the increments. Let's take a look at this. 32-page passport previously was 100 cedis for application fees. That one you apply and then you just go home and sleep for months. No, you don't even get it anytime soon. Now it's 500 cedis. As to whether the increment will go with some level of improved service is also another conversation. 48-page, 150 old fees, now 644 Ghana cedis. We all see about 400% increase in both cases. If you want expedited service, 150 was the old fees, now it's 700 Ghana cedis. 48-page, 200 was the old fees, now 800 Ghana cedis, as we're seeing. That's some 600% increase there as well. So the fundamental concern is about the quantum of the increase, because if I get it, Lamatupe will bring you in here, because looking at the last time these fees were increased, you would appreciate that to the extent that the cost of production has gone up, some level of increment is allowed or would have been appreciated for that matter. What is the real issue about this quantum? And I've just been told this. Yesterday, the Ghana Police Service also issued a prof. There was a release from the police service that some PRESEC, senior high school, where your son's place, your son is in PRESEC.
Do you want to travel?
Yes. So here's what happened. Yes. Here's what happened. They faked the kidnapping of one of their colleagues, in fact, and the person who was said to be the victim of the kidnapping then had them contact his parents to demand some 340,000 Ghana cedis ransom. And when he was asked by the police what he was going to use the money for, he said he wanted to travel. Senior high school.
Senior high school. It's descended from the university to SHS.
Oh, it's always been there. Oh,
they have been
It's always been there.
The 6.
It's a matter for court because I'm looking for divorce. That cannot be my child. I have to.
But the mother didn't cause it.
So this is where did she go to get that child?
Yes. So that's the police statement there. Now, yes, Patrick, the point. So, Council, what taking into consideration, yes, the increase in the cost of production of these passports, what quantum of increase would have been, in your view, allowed?
Okay, so Ocansey, quick comment on the Presec boys before
yes,
please. You know, I'm passionate about juvenile justice.
Indeed.
Let's just be careful, please. Once you have the boys being under 18, and even if you look at the Juvenile Justice Act, you see it tries to cover 21-year-olds. Please, let's try and keep their identity.
The identities are
from the media. So it's the police I'm trying. So at any point, remember Cecilia Adapaye's case, when it came, we did, and then eventually one of the girls, she was underage, but eventually her identity was blown. Let's not do that. Look, there are lots of people in high authority today. They were very bad kids, very, very bad. I mean, all the way. There are several ministers. Oh, some have said it publicly to show how they've transformed.
Like
you know, Duncan Williams. Oh, mine didn't go fine. I didn't go near juvenile court. He was playing football and being asked not to play and then do things. Okay, right, yeah.
Okay, I think it's a fair point.
Yes, let's do that. And there are criminal consequences. If you read the Juvenile Justice Act, if you disclose the identity of this children, it's a crime. It's in there, okay? So don't say we didn't warn you.
Yes.
All right. Now, you see, this increment, it's been poorly thought through, very poorly thought through.
Why?
You see, when you're doing, it's governance. You are governing the people. You read the Constitution, lead. So they'll tell you probity, transparency, accountability. So that is what should have guided government. We should have had a good conversation. Tell us this, that. Then people buy into it before you go into parliament and then come with a law. But these guys,
but that's why there's parliament. They are the representatives of the people. To the extent that, according to the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, the Foreign Affairs Ministry was even asking for something higher.
That's no excuse. I don't even want to hear that.
The Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament engaged. They had engagement over the period, even before this announcement. So if Parliament is representing the people and this process went through Parliament, what else could have been done?
Just going through Parliament is not enough. Parliament has its own problems. Parliament is very weak. The Speaker himself has said it. Right now, by the, researches that have been done, the latest one puts Parliament at the bottom. Okay? Even the executive did better. The president did better than Parliament. So Parliament is weak. He could be talking on TV there. Was not the one somebody carried money there. He refused to disclose the identity of the person. Today he's saying somebody is throwing tantrums. When I looked at Apia Kubi make that comment, I was like, has he forgotten that somebody brought money? He has refused to disclose the identity of the person. We all know the person, but he Apia Kubi doesn't want to go on record. And now he has the effrontery to call somebody
he's not here to defend
throwing tantrums. Oh, this is a fair comment. If he were here, so I've been taking him on the disclosure of the businessman.
Indeed.
He has to disclose that one. Oh, that fight is not over. Look, Mr. Ocansey, Article 1 says that sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. You see, and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised. You go to the directive principles of state policy, and of course, I hope we are all aware that the Supreme Court has said, don't ever say they are not justiciable. Yes, no, not at all. So they are. You go in there, you find the other articles talking about probity, accountability. In one word, what I'm saying is that when you are coming out with such a draconian policy, you should engage the citizens first. Saying you've engaged Parliament is not enough. I've already shown that Parliament is weak. Very, very, very weak.
So what kind of engagement are you talking about?
So I expected the minister to have done a stakeholders conference. They will announce it well ahead of time and tell people to bring memoranda or memoranda, since there will be several. Then we'll have a national dialogue. Then people would make an input. We can't just say, oh, it went through parliament, so it's done. No, that's bad governance. Let the people participate. You remember Rollins used to make noise. Participatory governance, participatory governance. Where is that gone? If you tell me that, oh, other countries in the sub-region, some pay $150.
They said we're actually the lowest. Until this increase, Ghana was the lowest. So the old fees were about $7.7 thereabout.
Yes.
$7.07. Now, the Cameroon, for instance, charges $180, Guinea $57, Guinea-Bissau $65, Burkina Faso $80, Nigeria about $55 as well.
Good. So you see how the minister is taking it out of context.
Why?
Has she analyzed the whole of those countries? So I can tell you, let's give an example, VAT. VAT is cheaper in Nigeria, far cheaper. You see how our VAT is killing businesses. You see how Dr. Ejekum, Kama Pharmaceutical. You see, he says that his warehouse is locked up. I mean, his factory can't produce, but government has killed this business. Many other businesses have been killed because of the obnoxious and nuisance taxes that this government is imposed on us. So have you have to do a holistic thing. Look at free SHS, which we always laud the president for. Of course, though, with hindsight, let's put it in context. The free SHS covers about 20-something% of the total cost. It's not, so when we say free, it's not like free 100%. But whatever it is, at least he moved it forward beyond what JM did. So my point is that then by parity of reasoning, or the logic of the minister's argument is that since there was no free SHS in the sub-region, then we too shouldn't have done so. I mean, you can just see she's not thought it through. This is a very bad policy. Look, they should reverse it and come back and let's make a proper input. Because what justification? From 100 Ghana, boom, to 500 Ghana. What kind of thinking is this? You can just see it's poor logic, poor judgment, very, very poor judgment. There's no way you can justify this. Look, what are we saying? That so because some of the information they put out there in various dispatches, they're saying you had about 70,000 applications. There's a backlog. So if you need to clear the backlog, then it means increase it. Are they saying then that when they raise enough money to be able to clear the backlog, we can return to the old fees? Is that the logic? Because as part of the information they brought out, they say yes, there's a backlog of about 70,000 applications. So now that you've hiked the prices, if you raise enough revenue to buy new machines and all those things so that you can clear the backlog, does that then mean that we can go back to the old prices? You've not done all this. I just see it as an opportunity, because they've mismanaged the economy and we are in such a deep crater. They're just, it's a form of taxation. That's all that they're doing.
This increment?
Yeah. It's
so what quantum of increase would you have supported if this, you say, is draconian?
Anything not exceeding 100%. Anything not exceeding 100%. So from
100 to 200 Ghana cedis, for instance?
Yes, I would have supported same. Because as I said, let's look at those countries you are talking about, the sub-region. Isn't Cote d'Ivoire doing better than us? Then the minister should be aware. Cote d'Ivoire has 41 ministers. We should tell Akufo-Addo to reduce his ministers from 86 to 41. Cote d'Ivoire has better inflation rates. Are we going to do that? But I will say, how did the economic circumstances in JM's time, how did it fly over Togo, etc., and entered Ghana? So what are you saying?
I see.
Cote d'Ivoire has 41 ministers. Are you going to tell Akufo-Addo that based on comparison in the sub-region, Ghana too should have 41 ministers?
So 100% increase you would have supported?
Yes. Anything maximum 100.
500?
Yes.
I see.
A little information. I was talking about the Ghana card. Somebody just sent me a message that at the borders of Aflao and then we want to go to Cote d'Ivoire, they prefer the passport to the Ghana card. And so if they prefer the passport to the Ghana card, and the quest for the Ghana card to be used as passport has a long way to go, and it's important that we expedite action on that, and so that all this brouhaha would not be there. Why are you smiling?
Yeah, so
let's conclude on your point.
Yes, so as I said, so going back to the directive principles, look, The Article 36, okay, so apart from the probity, you see 35 says that Ghana shall be dedicated to the realization of freedom and justice, and accordingly, sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana, from whom government derives all its powers and authority through this constitution. You go on and on. As I said, I'm interested in the probity, the accountability, etc., right? Now you come to 36, so that we should remind ourselves, how are you governing? It says that, listen, govern in such a way that we are all taken good care of. So you can't just come with policies that seek to further choke us. Are you aware, before I read 36, are you aware for the first time in 14 months, right? The price of petrol is gone up. Petrol is gone up. When we are choking in this heat, when there is doomsday, unfortunately, you know what? Yesterday somebody sent me Baumia's statement. At the time, there was doomsday in GM's administration, and then prices went up.
Don't go ahead of yourself. We'll have the doomsday conversation.
Yes. So what kind of government is this? Right now, inflation is high. We came from 54 in December 2022. Yes, it's been declining, but declining doesn't mean prices are getting cheaper. It just means that the rate at which prices are going up is lower. So we are still in what? Listen, cost of living crisis. You can't. Declining. Yes, that's at the rate of increase. So if the
but nobody is reducing prices.
Exactly. Oh, yes. So we are suffering. How can you say? Look at 36. It says that the state shall take all necessary action to ensure that the national economy is managed in such a manner as to maximize the rate of economic development and to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every person in Ghana, and to provide adequate means of livelihood and suitable employment and public assistance to the needy. And on and on. So my point is, look, when an unemployed graduate is trying to get a passport and try his luck, US Embassy, UK, Canada, whichever other one, you think it's fair just because he wants to make an attempt to go, you punish him the more. So you put it beyond his reach. I mean, what kind of policy is this? Rather, because we have a teeming youth, unemployment over 14%, and Prof, you referred to it. It's been in that national security document they launched about 3 years ago. From time to time, so on paper, we know unemployment is a ticking time bomb. That is bringing us the Arab Spring. We are aware that the unemployment is bringing us the Arab Spring, but we are playing ostrich. So my point is that that unemployed graduate who needs to get a passport so that he can try his luck to go outside, you think you can penalize him and think that is his maximum welfare?
Okay.
Is that his maximum welfare? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Look, it's even possible that if we manage the economy well, passports can even be given for free. So don't come and take things out of context that just because in the sub-region some places are higher, Ghana should also charge higher. What about the rest of the economic circumstances in those countries? What about the rest of the economic circumstances? Why are you not comparing to Cote d'Ivoire? The economic circumstances, their inflation rates, their, what do you call it, interest rates. Yes, businesses, you borrow at far cheaper rates.
We are not the same.
Okay. I mean, what kind of comparing apples with oranges is this?
Well, there was some justification or explanation that was given by the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. But just before you come in, hear from Andy Apia-Kubi, just a quick playback of what he said at that press conference. We'll try to get him on the telephone right now. But take a look at this.
I gotta go.
Realization that it was also a means of identification. Governments have had to subsidize passports which have a cost element of 400 Ghana cedis by 300 Ghana cedis. We realize that this subsidy is from the coffers of Ghana as a country. And indeed, it is our own money. All of us contribute to that kitty to underwrite that part of cost. Indeed, how fair would it be for only 20% of us to surcharge all of us the 80% for that which they want for their purpose of travel? It is not fair. Indeed, there are countries that are charging even $200, $150, within the sub-region for the same passport, and indeed some of them even taking passports that only span for 5 years. For anybody to step out to say that they vehemently opposed the review of the fee, it's neither here nor there. The person who is throwing those tantrums is not a member of that committee. And indeed, it was not the work of the Foreign Affairs Committee, which I chair, which he is a ranking. So this is the work of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, and indeed chaired by the NDC Member of Parliament. So it never occurred in the committee meeting that there was protestation as to the recommendation for review. So it was a unanimous decision taken by the committee. So we brought our report to the House, and the report is public document which any one of you can have access to. And the report was adopted by the plenary.
Well, gentlemen, so let's stay on this matter a bit. The Honorable Andy Akubi, yes, is joining us on the telephone. He's the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. The man you just saw is joining us on the telephone. The Honorable Andy Akubi, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you for joining us. So, if you say that the recommendations for the increase in this passport application fees was a unanimous one by the committee members, which committee exactly are you referring to?
I'm referring to Committee on Subsidiary Legislation.
I see. So this matter never came to the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament?
No, it is not the duty of Foreign Affairs Committee to handle the legislation as it was, because this was to come into the LI for fees and charges. And it is the legislation Committee on Subsidiary Legislation that handles it. We had discussed that in the Foreign Affairs Committee during the budgetary debate. So we have discussed that, and the budgetary proposals that came to us, we declined the endorsement of the subsidy as proposed by the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and therefore we came to the plenary to debate it. And in the debate, we raised the issues of the feasibility of endorsing the subsidies. And generally, in the discussion, we declined endorsement of the subsidies during the debate. So that prompted the ministry to bring a proposal to Parliament, for Parliament to pass. And indeed, the proposal had to go through Ministry of Finance for them to bring the request, the bill, to Parliament. And Parliament made a reference to Subsidiary Legislation Committee. So it is the Subsidiary Legislation Committee that approved the figures and only submitted to Parliament for the general endorsement.
When it came to the plenary, after the Subsidiary Legislation Committee did its work, were some concerns raised about this quantum of increase from 100 cities to the 500 Ghana cedis we're seeing, for instance, for a 32-page booklet? Were any concerns raised at the plenary?
Not that I remember. There was no such complaints that I remember. But at the end of it all, it is Parliament that passed it. So whether or not there were complaints raised in the debate also, but I don't remember there was any such complaints raised during the debate at the plenary. Anyhow, it has been passed by Parliament. And when the decision of Parliament comes out, it doesn't lie in the mouth of any of us now to say that I did not support or some other person did not support. It is the decision of Parliament, and Parliament acts together. So when the decision comes out like that, it is not proper for any other person to go and to exonerate yourself from the decision making. It is the decision of Parliament. It is passed.
Taking into consideration the reaction that this announcement has received, the concerns, and then also the disapproval that at least the Ghanaian people have expressed about this quantum of increase. Do you think that you as Parliament did a good job in representing the concerns of the people in approving this 400 CD, I mean, in fact, from 100 CDs to 500 Ghana CDs for 32 pages?
Very good question. And listen to me. Passports cost, the booklet costs 400 CDs. The passport is not a requirement for you to prove your citizenship, because now it is the national identification card that citizens use in proving citizenship. Passports become necessary where people want to travel. So passports are not necessary for me who would not want to travel. The booklet costs 400, and currently, before the passage of the airline, people were paying only 100 cedis for a 400 product. The state of Ghana was subsidizing using Ghana's money, me and you, our money, to subsidize that by way of adopting the 300 Ghana cedis as subsidy. Don't forget that that money is the money for me and you. Those of us who don't want to travel, that's our money. And we are saying that as a country, we have to use our money that could have done something else for all of us to facilitate the application of the few who want to travel. And we want that me to justify that as sustainable. I will not do it. And indeed, we are too fond of bringing this propaganda into decision making and saying that the people of Ghana. So those of us who are contributing our money to support those people, we are not also people of Ghana. And in any case, the people who want to travel, it is the privilege they want to enjoy. Why should I, who will not enjoy that privilege, be the person to be paying for him? And in any case, when they pay the 100 cedis for a passport, they go to the embassies to pay $200 for visas that are not guaranteed. And these people are not complaining. And these same people, when they secure the visas, they go and pay $2,000 plus to buy tickets for a one trip. And this passport gives you opportunity to use it for 10 years. You pay 500 and you are complaining that the people of Ghana cannot sponsor that. But the same people of Ghana can sponsor $200 application where they even refuse, they are not refunded. These same people can support that. Let's bring decision making to issues that can be sustained, because the propaganda of people of Ghana, who are those people of Ghana? The people who are sponsoring it are also not people of Ghana. Is it the case that if you don't have a passport, you cannot live as a Ghanaian? So it is that those who want to travel, those who make applications for passports, and those who have keep money for tickets and visas that you are fighting for, and you are saying that Ghanaians must buy the tickets, the passport booklets for them, so that they can travel and they can go and pay. And they are not complaining about the escalating ticket cost. They are complaining about the basic cost of passport that they can keep for 10 years. And indeed, when you do a comparative analysis of it, countries around us, some of them are paying $180 for one passport. We pay $80 for one passport. And we are paying hundreds, and we want to use taxpayers' money to support this application, and you think that is justified? And it has come to a time that we should think of not making deficits for future generations. And all these monies, they come into budget figures. And these budget figures, we go and raise loans to come and support our budget. Then we keep the indebtedness for future generations. Look, I will not support any such thing. The time has come. But
Andy Apiakubi, so I don't know why you describe my reference to the responses and the concerns Ghanaians have raised about this quantum of increase as propaganda. This is what the people are saying, that what you members of parliament did in approving this fees is not a reflection of the state of the economy, and people are suffering, and you've gone to approve this 400% increase.
So if people go and pay $200 to an embassy and get refused for visas, this is not a reflection of the state of the economy.
But
people feed the
why do you make that comparison? Where does that come in?
But you are saying that Kenyans cannot pay because of the state of the economy. 500 cedis for a passport, but they can pay $200 for visas where even they are refused. You are saying, and the state of the economy does not advise them not to even go and pay the $200. The state of the economy advises them not to pay 500 cedis for a passport. Is that what you are suggesting? And in any case, the people of Ghana, those who don't understand, are being fed with propaganda. That is why they don't understand. But we, as decision makers, we should be truthful to them and let them understand that it is our own money, and our own money, it comes from me and you. And if you are not traveling, why should we? Is it fair for me and you to sponsor the people who want to travel? And if you explain it like that, nobody will say that the state of the economy is depriving people from taking passports. But the two of them are different things. And the state of the economy is different, we can discuss. But the people who want passports to travel, they want a privilege. They must pay for it. Why should I be the person paying for somebody who wants the privilege?
I see, but you're saying that this document is a privilege, not a right, the passport?
The document to travel, and me as a Ghanaian, if I don't want to travel, of what need is that passport to me? So that which everybody needs, is that which becomes a right. But that which a few privileged people who are going to travel need, is a privilege for them to travel. So, me, if I don't want to travel, why should I be the person sponsoring the person who wants to travel? I mean, let's change the fact. And indeed, if we don't pay this money, the end result is that they want to pay cannot buy them the passport booklet. And in any case, the same people who cannot pay 500, they pay 1,500 to other people to help them get a passport. So, where is your argument? So we want to bring out the fees that will make passports available to people who can pay for the privilege they want to enjoy, and they will get the passport timelessly, and they will also eliminate associated costs. Because the people who are paying this, they will tell you, come and file your application. The next day, come from my village in Jansa, come and take your bio. The next day, they come and bring your passport picture. The next day, come and take your passport. If you compute all these costs of your travel, will you not even get beyond the 500 you're complaining about? And if you get 500 cities and you can be served with your passport in the locality where you are, who would have made some profits?
Okay. The other one, Andy Apiaku, please hold on. Hold on for me, because I have Alex Segbefia as well, who want to respond to a number of things that you have said.
Let's give me one more.
Please.
Albert.
Yes.
It is not what somebody thinks that is important. You yourself, what we have discussed, you yourself, what we have discussed, and the information I've given you, given the opportunity, would you want to insist on paying 100 cedis whilst you will go and pay all those other monies?
Let me just state that on this table, on this table, there's actually been the.
What I've given you by way of response, does it not make sense to you?
On this table, there's been
a certain Alex who may be thinking differently. I'm not in a position to debate you. I'm taking the facts as I know them, and I'm also telling you my opinion as you have called me. I am not in debate with you.
Indeed. That I am not saying you're going to have a debate. I'm only saying that on this, let me just let you know this, that around this table today, there's been that acknowledgement that because over time there's been an increase in the cost of production and so on, some level of increment is acknowledged, but to have over 500% increment is where the concern is.
Who do you want to pay for the 300? Who do you want to suggest?
You show us how you arrived at the increment.
No, so what did you, the 500% increase, what did you take into consideration to arrive at that?
Listen to me. What I take into consideration is the cost of the booklet.
Do we debate that publicly? How? Who is in the document? How did that happen?
Who should pay for the difference? Who should pay? Suggest to me who should legitimately pay for the difference. Who should pay?
What you said, the cost of the booklet was there any engagement on this matter, a public conversation on this matter, so that we all acknowledge what is happening?
When you want to go and buy milk, you engage the public in discussing the
price. When I want to go and buy what?
Milk.
Milk.
From the supermarket, you engage the public in discussing what is price.
When I want to go and buy milk, do I engage the public? What do you mean by that?
We are saying that the cost of the passport booklet, and this is verifiable information, they have declared the places where we buy our booklets, where Liberia buys its booklets. So if you are contesting that, just go and find out whether we are saying it is not 400. But so far, I haven't heard any debate saying that it is 300. Tell us where it is 300, and then we'll go and buy it. But if we cannot have an alternative of a cheaper price, and we are saying this is the price, and it is verifiable, the question then becomes, who should pay for the difference? And tell me who we should set aside for the difference, and I'll raise my case.
Anyway. I don't.
You are prepared to pay 100. Who should pay the difference?
We haven't
I see.
We've not made
there hasn't even
cost.
Okay, Mr. Alessandro. No.
Have we finished the team?
Yes. You will be on.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I thought you just allow me to say something small as a precursor to what you say. I beg you. This is your time to be. We are friends. I mean, me and you. A former chief of staff. My view is that, you see, sometimes silence is golden.
Yeah.
Okay, and what Andia Piakubi has done is not politically smart.
Yeah.
Okay, he's made the matters murkier. and I'm so surprised is that the Andia Piakubi who sits here with us. I think there is unanimity amongst us.
Who refused to disclose the businessman.
There's unanimity amongst us that some level of increment will be accepted. But the quantum is what we are talking about. But where is the rough road on which he has driven his vehicle, I mean, it's a source of worry. And it appears that, I have a feeling, in fact, off air, I was saying that, well, is it that maybe Andy Appiah-Kubi doesn't like his party so much, and so he's now giving people the fodder, or giving people the opportunity to be able to lash at the party? Because the kinds of things, the justification that he's giving are also, they are hollow, and you are giving us now the opportunity to now, I wanted to be sober about this, but what he has said, I mean, I don't see how anybody who really means well for his party at this particular time in which we find ourselves, where things are hard, would go on this tangent, providing all this justification and saying all manner of things that now would open the floodgates for us to lash. I mean, I'll come back, but you have your opportunity. But I have so many objections to say to what he said. And I think that people come to Jampo Consult. We train politicians as to how to be politically smart. Okay, President Akufo-Addo, you can act politically smart by heeding to the calls of Ghanaians and say that, well, you increase it by 500%, I've increased it, I've intervened, let's do 100%. That's politically smart.
Okay, well, Mr. Alex Ebufia, you see, because this is the explanation from the chair of the...
Can I go? If I want to...
Let me ask you
no, let him please.
I just want to give a quick response on that.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that Alex is suggesting that I should be politically smart in
it's not me. Please, correct.
No, that's Professor Jampo. Professor Jampo is the one saying so.
I don't agree with
Yes. Please, it's not me. I want that
I've notified him that. I've notified him. It's Professor Jampo who made that suggestion too. Yes.
Okay. Professor Jampo, unfortunately, I don't agree with him. And I don't also agree with him that I'm putting the party's interest in jeopardy. No, I don't agree also. I am saying that as a politician, it is important for us to make sustainable decisions. And when the professor suggests that the increment must be 100%, not 500%, I've asked a very harmless question. So who should pay for the difference between the 100% increase and the actual fee? Is it the case that he and me will have to pay and he thinks that is fair? Is it a case that we should pay from Ghana's budget, for which reason we will go and borrow money to service the budget, and he thinks that that is a sustainable decision? All that I'm saying is that the Parliament has done its work. We have approved of the proposal brought by the ministry, pursuant to the encouragement of the same Parliament for them to find another way of meeting the balance. Indeed, they had come to request for budgetary support to underwrite part of the budget passport cost. And we as Parliament had refused. That we can't do that. So find a way to bridge the gap. And they come with a proposal that applicants ought to also contribute to the decision by such a margin. And do not forget that in the past 8 years that I've been member of Parliament, there has not been any review of the passport fees as per the fees and charges legislation. And therefore, we have enjoyed a period of a freeze. So why are we also complaining that having enjoyed the period of freeze, then we come to a point where we have to pay for the right price of the passport, and you think that we should not charge that fee, we should still continue to subsidize? Now that Parliament has not given the ministry money to subsidize, and we are saying that we cannot also, then the presumption is that Africans will not be able to get the passport because they cannot find the money to buy the passport books. And that's all. In fact, that's what this decision will take us to. And is that the case that Ghanaians are prepared to forgo passports? I'm sure the answer is no. And I have also told you that passport from Ghana, even still, is the cheapest within the South African sub-region.
Okay. So let me establish. You say for the past 8 years there hasn't been an increase in the passport application fees.
Yes.
So this is the first in 8 years, and you thought that this.
As long as I've been a member of Parliament and a member of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, we have not done the fees and charges in review of applications.
Now, who caused why didn't you do it? Why haven't you done it all this while?
Okay,
now you want to
why was it not done in the last 8 years incrementally?
Probably the presumption was that passports were necessary for proving citizenship before the advent of the Ghana National Identification Card. So I think, I'm not saying that's the case, but this is what I begin to see, that the ministry did not bring the proposals for the bill because they consider that as a right, probably. But as of now, it is only used for travel, the passport. So from the means of identification, we have adopted Ghana card as the means of identification. In fact, most institutions in Ghana have configured their systems to accept Ghana card as a means of proving your Ghanaianness. And therefore, the passport is not a requirement anymore in proof of your citizenship. And therefore becomes a tool only for trouble. And that's why maybe the ministry understands that if that be the case, and Parliament has refused to approve of budgetary support, then, of course, the bill must be borne by the applicant. And since I put the question, I'm sure that I'm still waiting for answers as to who should pay for the difference. Assuming we agree to 100%
Okay.
And therefore, came to 200.
Who was paying
passport came to
and
200.
who fixed?
Who will pay the rest of
Who
the
fixed
200?
that cost?
Where to find that money?
Well, there was some. No. Thank you. Thank you for the. Yes. And the Apiakobe is the Member of Parliament for the Asante Achem North Constituency. He is the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. He's also an MPP MP. Taking into consideration their absence this morning for some emergency situation that we understand, it was worth it that we give him the time to also speak on the issue. So, Mr. Gwefia, so it talks about a number of things to the extent that the Parliament did not approve the budgetary support for the ministry. They had to find other ways of also raising money to subsidize the process, or as it were, now not subsidize, but help sustain the operations of the passport office. And then also the fact that in terms of the quantum that was taken into consideration, for the past 8 years, they haven't increased passport application fees. So these were some of the major considerations they took in as it were, approving this fees by Parliament. He says it was a unanimous decision at the Statutory Legislation Committee.
Okay. I've broken down this into a number of areas. One is the price. The second is the language being used by government representatives. The next is the process of the printing. And the last but one is who should pay for the cost of the passports, and then the timing. Before I deal with that, I think there's an overall picture that has to be set. We have a failed economy. Our economy has failed. And that economy has failed as a result of the MPP government's management of the economy. Let us establish that fact. Because if for 8 years you never had to touch those prices and subsidies, what condition of economy did you receive when government was paying that now you have to? The truth of the matter is that government has to find ways of raising revenue across board in terms of where we find ourselves currently. So every avenue, nook and cranny, including taxes, whether direct or indirect, are being looked at to raise revenue. And it is said in his own statement when he claims that we couldn't meet the budget requirement for foreign affairs. And so they had to find other means of finding the money for foreign affairs to operate.
That's it.
So it's not me saying it, it's there black and white, that this is the situation we have.
From taxation to production, are we?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. You understand? So look, it is the state of the economy that has brought us where we are, not because of who is paying or what. We need to find money. And this is one means. Because if you have a 70,000 or 70 whatever backlog, and everybody is paying that increment that is supposed to come, it's a lot of money for Ghana's coffers. Yeah. Whether we like it or not, it's a revenue generation scheme. So that is the one aspect. But who is to pay for it? Ghana was paying for it throughout the whole period of Mahama administration or beyond. Ghana was subsidizing. Is that not the view? And why is there a need for a subsidy of sorts? There is no printing press in Ghana that prints passports. The closest we came to printing was ICAM, late Mafu. He was bringing them in and he wanted to bring them and do the binding, not actually the printing. And his company has now collapsed. He never got to it. So there is no printing press in Ghana that prints passports. So instead of looking at, let's take 2 or 3 to see how we can assist them to get that printing done in Ghana, it will immediately reduce this cost you are talking about. Because what is happening is you go to give it to a printer, the printer is printing it abroad, putting his cut on it, and then bringing it back. Why won't it be expensive? Why hasn't, in the last 7-8 years, that thought process been gone into? So if you then know this, you must do it incrementally, because we are already suffering.
Yeah.
We are in a state of bad governance, leading us to all be economically destitute. So, do it incrementally. Oh, look, by the year 2029, we will remove all the subsidy. But this first year, 100% increase. From 2025, 2026, this is what is going to come. So that by this time, all subsidies will be removed. We do it with even our donors. When we have to pay a certain collateral amount to get certain subsidies, we stagger the payments, and they listen to us. Why would you do it with us? Why? But because you have created a mess, you are now looking at it as a revenue generation. It's because the truth is that everybody needs a passport. Who needs to travel? And you are promoting foreign direct investment. You think the people come on their own? Ghanaians go and bring people. Why is it the normal Ghanaian you are talking about, who Professor Jampo is talking about? Do you know that people borrow money to go and get visa, to get their passport? And when they go abroad, they have to pay the ticket they are going to travel with. They borrow money. And then when they go abroad, they work and pay back. That is what is happening. So it's not like the person has money in his pocket and is giving. No, he is borrowing. So what you are saying that, oh, who can he? What you are actually saying is that go and borrow more. And that is why the people are screaming. Because they don't have the money in the first place. They borrow to get into that plane, to be able to go there and get that job that they can do, and they pay back. So for 1 year, 2 years of their stay abroad, they are paying back monies that they owe. But they still feel that is better than staying in Ghana. And I also want to take on my brother, Professor Jampo. Between Kufuor's era,
what have I done?
Kufuor's era to the end of Mahama's era, you saw a complete decline and slow this thing in migration outside.
Based on which data?
People rather were coming back home. Even homecoming, all those things. Therefore, everybody was trying rather. But I'm talking from 2000 upwards, right up until 2016.
No, because if you say that there's record that migration was low, which data are you making reference to?
So, say that you don't agree and prove me wrong. But that is my understanding. Because all the reportage about homecoming, and we have this thing.
If you talk about homecoming, this government will also talk about.
But no, please,
chop their money here and leave.
Many people, you have given examples. You have given examples. Many people who came back are going back. Many people, we all know people who came back are going back to the countries they came from. So if you think that because I haven't brought a book of statistics, I'm wrong, you rather prove me and tell me that I got it wrong.
Well, if you talk about homecomings, I mean, this government will also refer to this beyond the return, year of return thing.
I'm saying, are you saying that many Ghanaians have not come home?
You said migration was declining or over.
How many nurses left the shores of Ghana in that period, as opposed to how many are living now? How many doctors? You remember there was a time that doctors were leaving the shores. That declined completely for a number of government interventions that were in place. Now they are leaving again. Are you saying I should go and bring
7,000 nurses left? I heard something between last year and March this year. 7,000.
I mean, we've been having conversations that I know.
You just take it that they are not. They are everybody. There's no. What's it called? Migration, or how do they call it?
Emigration
from the country. Yeah, let's leave it like that. Because
but who said they aren't? I mean, there is.
I'm telling you that
you're going to make another point.
Okay.
Look, once you get into the position where you can tell that people are moving out, then the passport becomes important. So I'm reinforcing your point. You are there saying today that everybody wants to leave. And when I make the point, you say that no, it cannot be right.
No, you are just saying that in some time past, Ghanaians were rather coming.
Yes, a lot of Ghanaians came.
Well, I think all that you want to say is that the problem is now pronounced in this at this particular era that it used to be in the past. I mean, if you say that, well, I'll grant you.
If you say
I'll grant you that. But the point is that migration
people
has
always
become
travel in and out. So some people will come home, some people from here will go out. I'm saying that people should go and look at whatever statistics are available. I'm saying that between 2000, Kufuor era, right through to Mills, right through to Mahama, the number of people who were going out in comparison to the number of people who were coming in, there's complete disparity in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. There's a complete disparity.
Yes, we all know it.
Less people are coming in. Foreign direct investment, even as a business, has reduced. And more people are wanting to go out. Even you have confirmed that in this show. So whether it's a statistical matter, and I stand to be corrected, I don't have any data to run on it. But I'm saying that whoever has that data, when it comes out, it will be right. But coming back to the
checking it now.
Coming down to the printing issue, we must try and invest. You see, for our elections, no Ghana printing press can print a triplicate more than 8 pages.
Okay, yeah.
So when you sign the first one, the 8th is the last. If there's a 9th duplicate, you won't read it. You cannot read it properly. Now you have 12 presidential candidates. Each has an agent. So if you take one booklet there and each of the 12 people want their copy, they cannot get a copy. It therefore means, by default, you must print 2 books for each station so that you can give all the 12. So at any time T, at any polling station, where the collation point, they must have 2 booklets for the same number of candidates. This is a problem we have. We put it in part of our issues that the EC must look at for reforms. Because by now we should have invested some money picking 2 or 3 companies to assist them financially to be able to do what the Europeans do, where they can print up to even 20, 25 sheets. When you write on the first one, all will go through. We haven't bothered in that investment. So this is why these independent candidates, the moment they add them, and we go above 8, at every polling station, you have 2 booklets. And why am I saying this? When we were doing our collation, we got 2 sheets, 2 identical pink sheets with same reference, same everything, different figures. We had it when we were doing our collation. And that's what sparked our knowledge that, hey,
this was 2020?
2020. We have left a loophole in printing. So we have not equipped our printers to do certain jobs. And it opens the door for all kinds of things. Coming back to this issue, it means that if we encourage or help printers to acquire some of these machines, on the basis that if you acquire this machine, this is the percentage of contract you get, and they can do the sums and see that it is now cost effective for me to upgrade my equipment to do passports, because it's expensive. All we are doing is we are farming out the passport business to printers abroad, and we are using our printers here as middlemen. That's all that is happening. And so the cost
don't we have what it takes to do it here?
That's what we don't. We have it because the equipment is not cheap. So for a private printer to go and take that machine or raise his machine to a certain level, it's not cost effective. And he must have a guarantee that you even give him the contract to print. If he doesn't have that, why is he going to pick it? That's why government intervention is important. Where now you enhance, then we can start talking about 24 economy, because then they can print the passports where they want. Because now the machine is there. All this backlog, they'll be printing at night. Within 24 hours, 1 week, you can go and collect your passport because the printing machine is here. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's just one arm. That's just one arm of the problem.
Now let me come to the price. I've dealt with that.
Because yes, there are some cases, most cases as well, that the ministry says printing has been done
thousands of passports are there. People are not going for it. You've done the application. It's just there. And also,
well, because
that's also creating
if you
the
wait
cost
for
element.
4 months before the passport is ready, how will you know if they don't contact you that your passport is ready? If they give you a time that you get it in 2 weeks, you'll be chasing it for 2 weeks. After 2 months, you give up. Why? So don't look at it as if the people don't want the passport. They don't even know that the passport is ready.
Okay, let's go to the price.
Now, before we get on to price, let me talk about the language. We shouldn't speak like this. We must have empathy for the conditions of Ghanaians.
Thank you.
We are all suffering. We are going through a lot. And we feel for our people. So if you have reached a stage where you need to remove all subsidies at one go in a particular area, do it with empathy.
Talk about it with empathy.
You don't say that, what is the need for the passport if you have a Ghana card? This was the language of Baumia, that if you have Ghana card, you can do everything with it. You can't do everything with it.
You say everything.
Let me ask you.
Say everything.
The open registration that we are coming to do in May. No, well, your definition of everything is not my own. So, as he said, everybody has opinion. When you want to register now, isn't passport one of the things to get your voter's ID card?
Even now?
Yes. Because we haven't changed the CI. The CI is the old one. And so you have 3 forms: Ghana card, passport, and vouching. So why is the passport? He was saying that you only need it for traveling. That is not true.
No, wrong.
It's completely and totally. You need it to now become a voter.
No, but even if you only need it for travel, everybody is traveling.
I'm even giving him the benefit of the doubt to let him know that that is incorrect. For somebody to be able to vote this May, who doesn't have a passport, he has to run and chase 2 things. He has to chase a Ghana card or chase the passport. If not, he must find 2 people to vouch for him who have a Ghana card. So it becomes a very relevant document. And if you've had a passport in the pipeline for how many months, and you are thinking that, oh, I'll wait, it will definitely come next week or the week, and that May comes and pass, it's over. You cannot vote. So he shouldn't downplay the importance of a passport. It is a very important document to have. And up until the revisions were being made, there were times when even Ghana card was not accepted in the initial stages. It is now that it's now become, you go to bank, if you didn't have, if you went to a Ghana card initially. So these things are things that you progress, and one day, who knows, you will have a Ghana card that will even have your driving license details on it. So you don't need to get driving license. One day, you have your NHI details on it. You will know whether you have updated. It will be there. There will be no problem on it. But we don't have it now. It's like the same issue of, by all means, why do we need to have only Ghana card as the sole document? When we all Ghanaians are satisfied that getting the Ghana card is easy, you can go anywhere and get it, and everybody more or less has got it, we all agree. We have no problem with it. But now was not the time. And we had the debate on it, it's gone. So let us look at timing, it's very important when you put things in. And the condition of Ghana at the moment is dire. So when you are bringing in extra cost for something which is considered a document that is necessary to many a Ghanaian, you have to be careful in the language you use. We all agree here that if you had said 100% increase, we would have said, okay, there hasn't been any increment for 7 years.
Which is even false. I will show why.
Well, and
the money we pay to the center, what do you think? When you go to get a passport, the center there at Circle, you go and pay the service charges and all that. You think that's not the cost increase? Yeah, some of them have to about, is it 200? You haven't taken a passport recently. I remember how many years ago, I had to go and pay. You pay the center, the Ghana Digital Center. But there's a company that's operating there. You pay. And so if you say cost of passport hasn't gone up, you say completely false.
So there we have it, Mr. Host. And in terms of the cost, much as an increment can be justified, whether the whole increment should be on at this time, or whether it should have been staggered, and whether account should have been taken more account of the austerity position that the country is in and how people find their means. Because a lot of people who do this borrow. Let us be a little bit circumspect in our language in how we deal with this matter. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, so thank you.
Just 1 minute. Let me okay.
Yes, in a minute.
Okay. Okay. Yes. 1 minute. Let me draw his attention to another one. You know, medical tourism is very high now. Because our health system is collapsing, lots of Ghanaians have to travel out to seek medical attention. You call this privilege? The meaning of what Apia Kubi is saying then is that, yes, then die. Die. If I have to borrow or take my savings to go and seek medical help, care abroad, you are increasing the cost, so you make it more difficult for me. If your government had run proper hospitals, if you had put in infrastructure, so many things, we would not need to travel. So even traveling out to get medical care in itself is also a result of bad governance. So when you increase the cost of the passport, you increase our pain. You check. Now, and medical tourism is such a huge thing, It's huge now because the hospitals are dying. You don't have the right equipment. Then let's come to education too. There are some of the courses. There isn't expertise here for you to get it. So when you are traveling now, it's not a privilege. We've already said Article 36 says, make us happy, govern in such a way that we'll have maximum welfare. And the final point on this is that this 400 cedis is talking about, I bet you, if they throw out the way this thing was calculated into the public, look, analysis will show that that thing is wrong. I'm telling you, let them bring it out. How they arrived at the cost of printing, which is 400 Ghana. Let them bring it out. You will see that as soon as the debate starts, in no time, the figure will be wrong. This Apia Kubi shouldn't forget that he is the one who refused to disclose the identity of the businessman in Parliament. So we can't trust him.
Right.
We can't trust you.
So you want the basis computation.
Yes, bring out the basis of the computation. You will see. Don't forget the issues of single source procurement, etc. Bring out the information, how you did the computation. Then the debate will go on.
All right. Thank you very much.
Just something small to
Professor Jampo.
The assumption that people travel. I know, you're trying to bring out the reasons why people want to obtain passports and all that. But you see, generally, the assumption that people travel because they are privileged, I think is problematic and is completely out of touch with reality. Because as I sit here, the number of text messages I am receiving in reaction to what Andy Apia Kubi said there are so many of them. So the point must be made that essentially, a preponderant majority of the good people of Ghana who want to exit the shores of the country will do so, or they do so because they are searching for greener pastures. And they have the right to exist. They have the right to a living condition, a standard of living that is appreciable to them. And so if they want to leave simply because things are not working well here, we shouldn't deliberately then put in place impediments and obstacles in their way to prevent them from doing that, whilst at the same time we are not willing to make their living conditions better for them here. That's why I'm saying that he shouldn't have gone on that route. He shouldn't have just spoken. Because what he said is not politically smart. He should have just kept quiet and allowed us to discuss. There is an overwhelming view, from all of us, that there should be some increment, but not up to 500%. It does not take into consideration the reality that the realities of the economic conditions that the people of Ghana are facing.
Okay, thank you. So there's a chart, in fact, a flow chart that we've just a trend analysis that we pulled out from the OECD and the International Organization for Migration document. Now, take a look at this. This is the migration flows from Ghana. It entered in 2019.
What do you say?
Yes, essentially. So
we are dead.
It just gives you a picture of what has been happening. Yes.
So it's been like this.
At some point it went down, and then also.
Yes. So from 2019 2015, no, 20...
From 2014
it's been
down, it went down from 2014 to 2015, then and from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 has been rising.
That's it.
Yes. So this is the OECD. In fact, you can make some time, find it on the OECD, International Organization of Migration website.
Alfred.
You'll find it. And then also, also, where the Ghana Statistical Service also has a report, which I have a copy of. This is titled the Thematic Report on Migration, the Ghana 2021 Population and Housing Census, but the thematic report on migration out of that census as well gives some pointers to support the points that you were making, that there has been an increase. If you go on to that report, it's about almost a 150-page report, but page 99 of that report gives us an indication of what is happening when it comes to persons living. And you look, if you drive through most of these embassies, you don't even need a report to confirm what is being said. But
Alfred,
just for the benefit.
I just want to add one thing to this.
Let me just
read
figures
of people who moved.
Yes.
It doesn't tell you the applications.
Okay. Indeed.
It doesn't tell you how many people actually applied and were rejected.
Yeah. And
yes.
I think TV3, you do well in giving some of these real-time information, the quick, the swiftness with which you could simply provide us with some of these things for analysis. I commend you, your producers and those of you working behind the scenes to make give such real-time information. And you nailed it. You go to American Embassy, the runabout there at dawn, and you see people have turned the place into church, and people are praying, prophesying, binding, and casting out demons, and
there's a
taking collection
Canadian
and
application center as well,
and all that. And it's sad, and it is depressing. And you ask yourself, oh, but why are we in a hurry to go to somebody's country? It's all in search for greener pastures. And so it is important that we acknowledge this and begin to put in place measures that would at least minimize. As for traveling, people will travel, but can we minimize? But now it's like there is a certain slope. All of us, everybody is being pushed, and people are just descending. People are just go to the airport this evening and see. It is disheartening. Who, if we are all leaving, who would be here?
Okay. So if you look at page 99 of that migration report put together by the Ghana Statistical Service with the likes of the International Organization for Migration, all supporting the process, it indicates and further buttresses the point that the emigration population, those who are emigrating, is dominated by young adults with a median age of 35 years. Now, more than 3/4 of the emigrants, 77.2%, are within the 20 to 49-year bracket.
That's
the productive age bracket.
Productive labor force
of every country.
A human resource.
77.8% amongst them are male. 77.8% are male.
Hard workers.
And the representation of children below 15 years among the immigrants is very minimal, at least, and most of them are going for educational purposes. But when you look at the...
What educational purposes? That they will take scholarship and go and don't come again. Please, no educational purposes. People take scholarship, they go and they don't even study.
I'm speaking to the details of the details of the report. We'll be back shortly.
Money, £17,000. I hope we are coming to rate.
After this quick break, we'll get into the doom matter.
She has to pay back that £17,000.
Well,
she has to pay.
We'll have to find out what action will be taking after the
Ramadan works for her. Samira and her family have to pay the £17,000.
What action will be taken after the Fourth Estate have done their work?
Oh, because no, it's already out there.
Yes.
Ramadan said he didn't go to the
So what action will be... I'm only saying that...
They should start paying their money back. No, Mr. Ocansey. They should start paying their money.
You're not listening to me.
You're
not listening to me. I'm saying that the report is out. We are waiting for the action that will be taken after the report is
so
out.
That's what I'm saying, that she should get ready. She and her family, they should pay back the £17,000. You and I cannot
get them to do that. Somebody has to do that.
No, we can. So we are telling her that she should pay.
Indeed, as we say it here, somebody has to take the action of getting them to pay. So we will be back shortly after this quick break. We'll get into the Doomsaw conversation
Bemboache is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Will be joining us after this quick break, together with my guest. Stay with us.
Never stops. If it's not breaking, developing, the news lends itself to significant analysis, broad context through explainers, and the features that give stories more life. That's what we offer on Weekend Central. News, features, analysis, the full package. Weekend Central, Saturdays and Sundays at 12 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
My guy, are you ready? Yes. Charlie, it's the day show. This week is going to be fireworks. What am I talking about? Well, this week we're speaking to one young woman who's making Ghana very proud. She's just recently won 1 gold medal, 2 silver medals at the Africa Games. Okay.
And I was the first athlete to win for Ghana. And the second time again, winning another 3 medals for Ghana for the first time.
Winifred Intumi is our guest, but she's not the only one. Right after that, we're flying all the way to the United States to speak to Jeremiah Owusu. At the end of the day, what do you want to achieve with your career when all is said and done?
Right, I can achieve a Super Bowl, I can achieve, Player of the Year, I can achieve all these different awards, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't have an impact, utilizing what God has blessed you with.
Yeah. So it's like a door, but you're kind of like, and he is an American Ghanaian NFL player. Don't miss this Sunday, 3 p.m. on the Day Show. Defense. Oh, no, you cheated. Was it going in?
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Everyone deserves love.
After weeks of love, heartbreak, and unforgettable moments, the journey isn't over yet. Join us as we bring together the contestants of your favorite dating reality show for a reunion like no other. The stage will be set for fireworks, tears, and unexpected revelations.
I'm 2 weeks pregnant.
You are 2 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
For
Alejandro.
Don't miss out on the drama, the laughter, and the love as we reunite our favorite couples on the night. Join us on Sunday, April 7 at TV3 Studio B, 7 p.m. sharp. Date Rush. Everyone deserves love.
Date Rush shows every Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it. Date Rush is sponsored by Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil and Napa Foods.
Dewa Chop Money.
Feel Moisturizer.
Obuasi Bitters.
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection. Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soap.
Deluxy Acrylic Paint.
Adonko.
Remy Spices.
Stop Cough from Ernest Chemist.
Dano Milk.
Mac Brown's Kitchen. Mac Brown's Kitchen.
I'm ready to send me to Mac Brown's Kitchen. Brown. New season, new stations. Hey, Mac Brown's Kitchen. Na want TV so ache. Ani o mu ya ache. But the nyamia yeni enche kra no. Ba TV3. Mimi da bia ani 5 to 6 p.m. Nana ya ba hwa wate. Mini mi kunu me ma ya ba show sesako Ghana fodo. That's it.
McBrown's Kitchen shows this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
Bar Herbal, Akuma Onion Paste.
Talented Kids platform provides children with the opportunity to showcase their talents, focusing this week's episode on highlighting advancements, innovations, and the impact of technology on different aspects of our lives.
I am Yagaya AI. How can I help you? Technology is a double-edged sword.
it rightly and wisely.
Yeah, many ways to communicate. In the name of technology, may we all be great.
Technology play a good role in life, advancing every time, improving everyday life.
To keep your favorites in the competition, vote by dialing *713*13# or download the TV3 Reality app to vote. Talented kids, free to play.
Oh my God! When Constant comes beautifully on stage.
Talented Kids shows on TV3 Sunday at 4 p.m.
Powered by Indomie. Sponsored by Coco Plus.
Deluxe acrylic paint.
Frutelli Calipo.
Vitamilk.
Pepsodent Cavity Fighter. CTIW Foundation. CTIW Foundation.
And support.
Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We are also live on 3FM 92.7 and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Number of messages. Audu Adams Mumone says, good morning, Alfred. The passport comparison to other countries is neither here nor there. The countries with higher cost of passport are chip embedded, which is not the same as what we have now. Khalil from WA watching us. This one here says, good morning to you, Alfred, and your panelists. The way and manner government is increasing payments and putting pressure on the citizenry without looking at what salaries are paid is a serious act of insensitivity. As for leaving Ghana to see greener pastures, we shall leave. It says governance has landed us in this abyss. We are in the state of kakistocracy. You say, thank you. This one here from came with no name and no location as well. And then also, I think, yes, the Fourth Estate one we've read. Okay. I will finance Martin Pebo to go to court. Malik Adama is, yes. I think the matter of the Ken of Reata matter that you spoke about.
Oh, yeah, that one is going. But Fauzi Ramadan's case, if Sambrina and they don't pay that money, we'll go.
Okay, so there's another one as well from Mike Kofi Aflu, former president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ghana. He says, good morning, Alfred, and your panelists. GRA does not use any data from SML. The MPA has their own equipment and systems that monitor the movement of all fuel tankers, etc., etc. SML has not contributed to revenue mobilization by the GRA. Please, Mike Kofi Aflu sends us that one.
Yes.
So this one.
3 seconds. It's 54 billion. The report.
So there's Papa Bisu as well sends this message as well, and yes, and the number of messages that we're asking about the absence of a member of government or a representative of the party in power. I've explained that.
Explained well.
Yes, over the period. So there's clarity on it. That right from, in fact, we start the communication and planning for this program from Wednesday every week. Right from, and our guest here will attest to it, that from Wednesday we start the engagement with the various political parties and individuals who are supposed to be on this show. So it's not just a 24-hour notice or engagement, and the political parties know this. And so we do the best we can to make sure that we get in. And as I indicated, there was an advertised person to be here for and on behalf of the MPP. We received a message this morning, and I think that that's fair to put it, that there was an emergency that Dr. Kwabena Henry Kokofu had to attend to. We have some idea of what the emergency is. So there was some arrangement for a replacement. That replacement also couldn't make it. That's Eric Chum. The other persons who were contacted, we understand that they said because of the demand and the nature of this program, they needed to prepare. So they cannot be called upon at the last minute to come without being adequately prepared. They wouldn't also want to come in and what's a jumbo? So that's the but then we've had Andy Apiakubi and others come through as well. So prior to this week, there was a suggestion. In fact, I had an interview with John Jenapo
who is the ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, who told me that some $50 million is needed to buy fuel to power some of the plants to help with dealing with this doom source situation. That was disputed by government, that it is not about lack of fuel, it's not a financial problem which has contributed to this doom source we're experiencing, and that ECG says they were faced with some challenges. That was clarified by the Public Utilities Workers Union. They pointed fingers at Gridco, that Gridco is not giving ECG enough power to distribute. So ECG can only distribute what it is given. Well, we got a copy of a report that Gridco submitted to the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Take a look at it. I'm going to take you through and follow me closely. Based on the details of this report, according to Gridco, now we installed capacity, that installed generation capacity, as in the total in terms of the thermal and then also all the power plants that we have, all the energy installation put together is 5,626 megawatts. That's everything put together. Bui, Akosombo, and all the power plants, the IPPs. 5,626 megawatts. What is available capacity as of March 26, 2024, is 3,251 megawatts. So there's a shortfall of 2,375 megawatts. What has contributed to this shortfall? Let's go to the next one. This is it. According to the Gridco report, which was an outlook of the situation between March 27 and April 2. So this is very recent, April 2. They say that there are some power plants that are unavailable as a result of inadequate fuel. There's no money to buy fuel. Senate contributes 110 megawatts to the national grid. Asogli Phase 1, 180 megawatts, that's also off. KTPP unit, 105 megawatts, is also off. AXA, 200 megawatts, is also off. So if you total the plants that are off as a result of unavailability of or inadequate fuel, 595 megawatts off. Let's take a look at the next one. You also have the units that are not available due to maintenance. So Bui Unit 3 is down because of maintenance, 100 megawatts off. Twin City Plant, 200 megawatts off. Ameri Unit, 250 megawatts off. And remember, Ameri was moved from the Western region to the Ashanti region. There are a number of energy experts, including the former president, who think that movement was really not well thought through because it's still not being powered. Now, Siemens units, 80 megawatts off. Tico Unit 1, 110 megawatts off. So if you total this one as well, all these plants that are not available or contributing the power that we need as a result of some maintenance that they are going through, 740 megawatts. That's also off the grid. Let's look at the next one. There's one, as you see, some plants are not available because of faults. They've developed some faults and they've been worked on, 120 megawatts of it. If you total all of that, it's some 1,455 megawatts of power that was part of or should have been on the national grid that is off, right? It gives you, and look at this, based on the thermal generation in terms of liquid fuel that is available. The Takrade thermal, they have just fuel to last for 13 days. So if you calculate from April to, and then thermal, the fuel they have would last for 3 days. So if there hasn't been any provision as yet, thermal, all things being equal, would have been off by now. And Asogli none, and then Saint Power as well, none. So this gives you a clear picture based on the Gridco report of what is happening right now and clears that state of denial that we've been in. What is causing these erratic power outages? Professor Jampo.
Well, this is quite revealing, and it is explaining why we are where we are today. It is worrying. I've told you that the essence of governance is not to proffer explanations to problems, but to find solutions to them. And that's why we elect a group of people and entrust our fiduciary trusts in them. So I think you are just showing us this, and I'm wondering whether, so is the president aware of this? Are the stakeholders, are they aware? And what are they doing about some of these things that are not keeping Ghana switched on? Generally, my own investigation also, not to controvert what you have put out there, but my own investigation also show that there is rancor, there is tension, there is acrimony, there is backbiting, and there is turf war among the key stakeholders who are expected to work together to keep Ghana switched on. They are fighting among themselves.
That's ECG, Gridco.
And all the rest. PURC included. Everybody is saying, they are talking at each other instead of working together to keep Ghana switched on. And when two elephants fight, and in this case, when all the elephants within this area they are fighting, it is we, the ordinary Ghanaians, who would suffer. And Mr. President, the buck stops with you. You must intervene to ensure that this rancor, acrimony, tension, backbiting, and turf wars that are being waged among those who are expected to work together to keep Ghana switched on, end. Because you are on record to have said you have kept Ghana switched on. And but the reality is such that we are not experiencing regular supply of power, and it is worrying. Even though I think last week ECG issued a statement that we have excess capacity now. I don't know when this your charts and that you posted was prepared, but you recall that last week ECG issued a statement that there is excess capacity, and so then we are supposed to have constant supply of they said there may be local challenges should be reported and all that. So the point is this: it's not about explaining. It's not about. It used to be switched on. So let us keep it switched on. And Mr. President, I'm calling on you. You have been very, very decorous with you. I'm just pleading that, you see, the buck stops with you. And I plead that you should be interested in the kind of legacy that you will leave that would outdate you. You've seen it all. So tomorrow when you are not there, it should not happen that you left the scene giving with doing so and all that. So if the people, the stakeholders who are supposed to work together to keep Ghana switched on at each other's throat and firing missiles across and being ballistic at each other, they are doing that, I say the buck stops with you. You must intervene to ensure that they really sit down to work to get Ghana switched on as it used to be at the time that power was handed over to you.
Right. Mr. Jampo, thank you very much. And Ben Boachi is executive of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Ben, this tough war that Professor Jampo talks about is one that we've seen, at least in this recent letter that Gridco wrote to the energy minister, indicating that ECG is not going by the load management schedule that Gridco as to recommended or directed ECG to take notice of. That's concerning, is it not?
Yeah, I think what Gridco is doing is to make sure that, the information that they have been sharing is actually getting to the minister. Because whatever load is shared, whatever deficit we have in generation, everybody in the industry knows about it. It is data that GRICO shares periodically. Every week, they do what they called the estimation, and then they will put out a supply plan. So in that supply plan, they will show how much fuel we have potentially, how much power will be generated, and how much deficit is likely to be occasioned, if there is any. So everybody gets that data. So that information is within the industry and everybody knows it. But they want to make sure that the minister also has the same information. And that's why they are now writing to the minister to say that in spite of the glaring deficit and continuous alert to the ECG for load management to be done, they have been impervious to those advice, and they wouldn't respond. And to avert system collapse and also break down the infrastructure, they need the attention of the minister to intervene. And for me, that is to really say that if you have not seen the data, we want you to note that something is amiss in this energy sector, and you need to act as a head of this.
See, but if you say that ECG is becoming ungovernable, I mean, that's a statement that's attributed to you. Why do you say that?
It beats imagination why such glaring data that everybody knows that there is a deficit, and nobody owns up, to appreciate or to acknowledge that there is a deficit. And you found that, the PURC, the regulator, had to issue strong directives to the utility, ECG, before they started responding, even to the cash waterfall mechanism that is set up to ensure that everybody is compensated somewhat for power to be generated, transmitted, and distributed. GRICO now is saying that they have been issuing this warning and they don't want to heed to it. So it clearly shows that ECG doesn't want to be governed by any rule of the industry, and therefore they do whatever they want. Even when it is clear that they have to shed load, they won't share the load. So then the discretion is left with GRICO to take down any part of the country to save the grid from collapse. And that for me is really worrying. And you would have noticed some of the commentaries that are coming from the medical sector, the hospitals saying that kids have died, and people's lives have been threatened because lives were taken when they were on the operating table, And these are situations that ECG is the only entity that can actually isolate those kinds of installations. Because they have wider network of transformers, they are able to zoom in and isolate specific installations from a major, a wider coverage load shedding. If they don't do it, then it leaves GRICO no option than to shut down anywhere they deem appropriate to be able to save the grid from collapse. And so that is what has been happening. Instead of planning and programming to isolate specific sectors of the economy for, businesses to run, for healthcare delivery to continue, they have decided that they won't issue the timetable. And therefore, GRICO should continuously take power down from the feeders or the control room. And that, for me, is most unfortunate. I don't see how, ECG became that powerful, if not recalcitrant, to ignore such sound technical advice, to protect.
But while we are at this, with this ECG GRICO back and forth, it is you and I, the consumer, as Professor Jampo indicated, that's suffering all of this, these unannounced power outages, which is impacting on individuals and businesses as we speak.
And I feel the stress and the difficulty that consumers are going through. I mean, we have platforms monitoring some of the events and also the complaints that are coming from consumers, and it's not pleasant. Some people will spend their money in a week hoping that they will get power to do their business. So they go and buy prepaid and give the money to ECG, and there is no power. They haven't sold anything, but the money is locked up. They have to get another resources to go and buy sometime diesel to be able to run their generators. That is even if they have it. All right. So the cost escalation for running business is injurious to economic growth. And we need to, appreciate that. So what we probably need to advise businesses to do is that don't go use all your money to buy prepaid. You need to plan on your own, to split it and manage, buying some diesel and also paying some, prepaids, such that if you have the light coming on, you can have it to use it. If it is not on, you can also have some fuel for your generator.
See, but while we are at it, would you blame the ECG alone, Ben, as you were saying? Because with this report that Gridco has just written that ECG is not complying with certain load management schedules and so on, they are reporting ECG to the energy minister. And the minister is on record to have said a couple of weeks ago that if you're asking for a timetable, then you should produce one yourself. So really, this is the sector minister. And so if you have the ECG not also, according to Gridco, complying with it, then where is the problem coming from where you sit?
I mean, the minister may not be supportive because he's a politician. And if you have done politics with the electricity in the past, you are careful not to fall prey to the same politics you did. But at some point, we need, technical people to be honest with the data. And that insulates the politics, away from technical stuff. And we expected ECG to be a technical institution that would own up to do the right thing and not be political. But in this instance, I think they are also becoming political. And that is why we are here, talking about this load shedding timetable.
Thank you very much for this input. Ben Boakye is Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. Yes.
Small point. You see, I doubt whether the Gridco saying that ECG is just being ungovernable. ECG is disregarding instructions given to them, and that because of that they've had to report them to the minister. I doubt whether that's a true picture. I'm saying so because it fits into the broader issue that I raised, that generally they are fighting among themselves. And you are saying you have reported ECG to the minister because ECG is not releasing timetable. The minister himself has openly said that you should prepare your own timetable. If we should prepare our own timetable, if we want same. And so I think that the reporting ECG to the minister, knowing his public posturing about the call for load management or load shedding timetable itself, shows that then Gridco was also just merely ticking the box. There are serious issues of tension, rancor, turf war, and fighting amongst them. And I'm saying that the bucks stop with President Akufo-Addo. He must provide the kind of leadership that would make everybody sit to work together among themselves, just for the purposes of keeping Ghana switched on.
Mr. Let's do a quick one on this.
Thank you very much. I think that you have a situation where people are just not speaking the truth.
Meaning what?
Look, the MPP President Nana Addo, Dr. Baobabia government has failed us in two areas of energy. You see, you have production, you have transmission, and then you have ECG who deal with the localized. But it's the ECG that collect the money for all the other two to operate. So when we had our problem was predominantly a production problem, which had come all the years right down because we had been totally dependent on hydro.
Yeah.
John Mahama fixed that problem.
Fix that problem by
making sure that we had other forms of energy production, to the point where the MPP accused us of excess production. That is where we got to. We told them that they have no plan. A good planner who is trying to expand his, we should have, the one thing you must have is reserves, excess capacity.
I think the concern was about the financial implications.
They haven't changed the way in which take and pay agreements are still being signed under their government.
That was the concern. You should have just fixed it or changed it.
Yeah. So for me, they've had the opportunity. There's no
saying that
issue.
I think it's been established on this platform, even by the NPP. I think the head of the Manifesto Committee, Energy, Dr. Bamia, is make the point. That excess capacity, it's not
an issue. But
the issue is about the cost of it.
But,
yes.
But it was an issue at the time that it was.
Prof. Okay. Yes.
So it was an issue.
Please proceed.
Just like saying you don't like that and get
we had an emergency situation.
Political
if you
hypocrisy.
decide that it is not an emergency situation, then we'll have that argument another day. There was we lost election partially because of doing so. So let's not play it down. Okay. Then you had the PDS, which was going to solve the problem of collection of money. We lost $190 million because of President Nana Addo on inability to ensure that the right thing was done. And we are suffering part of that now. Because if the collections that were being made had continued, this issue of lack of fuel due to funding and whatnot will not arise.
Talking about the Millennium Challenge account,
the compacts and whatever. So that is clear. At the moment we have, or at least as of December last year, we had 1.7 billion death with the independent power producers.
I think that was revised. Billion. I think it's about 1.5 billion the last time I checked.
Okay, so it's gone down by 200 million. Because it was 1.7 in December, now 1.5. Any way you look at it, it's a huge amount of money. You've run through your thing. The total amount of production is over 5,000 in terms of the installed capacity, which John Mahama created, in terms of the additions to get us to that point. But the amount that we are actually able to put out as of 2 weeks ago, and it may have changed, was 3,300. And our peak period amount was 3,700. So peak period, you need 3,700. And you are only putting out 3,300. So there's already a shortfall there of 200 megawatts that we don't have. So any way you looked at it, we were already short. And you must understand that even though there's a stored capacity of 500,000, the actual dependable capacity, the one that you can actually get, is 4,710. So if you take the 4,710 right down to your 3,300, which you are now giving out, that is the real amount that is missing from production. So look, any way they twist it or turn it, our production is down. Whether it's because of plants that, and why are plants not serviced? They don't have the money to service the plants. Why is there no fuel for the blessing? They don't have the money to pay them for the fuel. So any way you twist it or not, Sikasem, it is a money issue. So when they say, oh, it's not a money issue or whatever, it is not the case. And you keep hearing from the experts and the people who are involved that, look, it is a diaspora issue. So let us be clear that this is all about money. Dumso you keep saying the ECG has said, oh, there's no doom saw, but if you get it, it's localized. They should tell us how many localized areas are suffering.
Okay.
Then we know really what they are saying. If it comes that 20% of the country is suffering from localized problems, then it's not localized. And it's the classic scenario. You know, if you keep, I won't use that, holding back the truth about what is happening. When you get to 7 months, your pregnancy will show. It has begun. People are telling you that the stomach is growing. And you are telling us that, by the time we get to the 6, 7 months, we all know that there's doomsaw and it's real. And we need to do a program of load shedding. And once again, the language of NAPO, the last time, is a problem for us Ghanaians. No empathy, no concern about our plight. It's becoming a trademark of the MPP governance. Thank you.
Well, just a minute on this. So
yes, I'll be very brief. Yes, okay. So
I beg you.
Yes, going to the ECG, the Gridco letter to the Honorable Minister. I'm like, but the Honorable Minister himself is already conflicted. He said,
yes, know what they are doing.
But they had to. No, it's good. He said because it's good, and it's not just sticking. You see, now we are talking about it. So they've done well. It's not just sticking. If they hadn't, we wouldn't have a.
At least this detail.
Yes. Can you imagine that
ECG? Yes. Writing to a minister whose position about the matter is already known. Amount to romancing a stone.
Yes,
nothing will happen.
No, it's good. So it's good. We are having the conversation on the back of their letter, right? Okay. Yeah, so you look at it and say, NAPO, more trouble for NAPO, and it's karma, right? Oh, do you guys have the 2015
video? We played it last week.
You played it last week, I wasn't here. Oh, can we get repeat? We keep reading the Bible and Quran, right? You see, NAPO, are you listening? You see how talk is cheap? That time you were raising your voice and talking, yeah, we supported you. Just come now, look, you're a minister, you get so much privileges, you've made money. Journalists ask you one question, just be humble. See how he was talking. See, I was like, man, you see, when you're hungry, an angry, a hungry man is an angry man. Right. But you are full now. Minister, you made money. Okay. So this one, you take your time and answer. Oh, my brothers, be patient. We are working on it. Be very humble in tone. And he was very dismissive. The same man was talking in 2015. You see your level now.
Thank you very much.
You see the shame? See the shame?
Is a private legal practitioner. Thank you. Also to you, Honorable Alex Segbefia, former Deputy Defense Minister, former Deputy Chief of Staff, former Minister of Health. The next time you're here, we'll center the conversation on the health matters as well, because it's important. There's some things that we are working on in that sector. Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon. He's a governance expert, written widely on governance issues in this country and beyond. On behalf of the production team, I want to say thank you very much, Abdallah and Michael and all the members of the team. Thank you very much for the support this morning. And we take notice as well of the explanation that we gave earlier. Because of the NPP's absence, there was an emergency. They couldn't get an immediate replacement, and it is not really the fault. And my shirt this morning have been clothed by Willie's Clothing Empire. Willie's Clothing Empire. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and then also on TikTok. Willie's Clothing Empire.
They should give us some.
You want some?
They should clothe us some so that we also advertise.
I'll let them make some of their shirts.
We are giving you nice shirts, and they are not giving us some. And they should give us some. Willie's. Over